gunchannels.com. I'm Night Strike. Yeah, thanks for listening. Let's see. Let's get the link out there for people. There we go. Now we got to edit the overview and add the shit in there. What is it? Bed code. There we go. Tools, source code. Let's fuck up this source code. Let me make sure I don't want to screw this up before I have my coffee. Make a copy just in case. Yes, you hear me editing gun channels right now. Oh my. There we go. Refresh for early lobby. There. The link out there 2 more times. There we go. I did not screw up the code. All right. So anyone out there that wants to jump in, go ahead. I may be at the computer. I may be away. Depends on how the day goes. I got shit I got to do today. Like clean off my desk and set up a new monitor stand. Everyone on the gun channel side just went silent on us. So, anyways, what's going on? Let's see what's going on in the news. Yeah, I know. I know you are angry. It's fine. Don't worry about it, man. So, there is some news. The Second Amendment Foundation has issued a travel advisory to avoid California if you're traveling. So if you're traveling and you're bringing your firearms with you, avoid California at all costs. I'll throw the link out there in Gun Channel so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, I know this is from the Truth About Guns, but I've seen it on guns.com and a couple other places. And I know, Angry, yeah. Normally we know to ignore California and go around it, but not everybody does. So this is out there for the people that haven't heard it.
Or just don't take your guns on vacation.
Yeah, don't take your guns on vacation where you're carrying or don't carry an immense amount of cash. Carry credit. Because if you were a tourist and you've got like thousands of dollars in cash in your wallet, yeah, you're gonna get mugged. Don't let people see that.
I thought you were going to say if you got stopped by the cops and they decided to search you, they'd want to know what you're doing with all that cash.
Oh, I don't even want to go there. That's another story entirely. Though that also shows the corruption of law enforcement. But, anyways, yeah, the Second Amendment Foundation has said don't go to California. Just flat out. Not that I would want to go. I know you wouldn't want to go either, Squib. Unless you had a good reason.
No, I go to California. Yeah, I go to California.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to vacation to. I just don't bring no guns.
Do you have to hire like a security guard in order to stay safe?
No, I don't have anything to be afraid of.
Okay.
Look, a firearm is an equalizer, and it does give you an added sense of security. Not just against getting mugged, but things like having somebody's dumbass dog jump the fence and come at you when you're walking and stuff like that. But
terrorists, too.
In general, yeah, well, I don't know. Some of the things that terrorists do, yeah, it's a 50-50. But
you're right. I give you that.
In general, you don't put yourself in a bad situation, for one. And for two, you have other options other than a firearm sometimes. I mean, that 21-foot rule, you better be able to go hand-to-hand to some extent. I'm no, martial art expert or anything like that, but, if I got to use my fists or whatever, I will.
Well, Squib,
I think you should be able to carry the firearm. I think you should be able to have that option. But if I'm somewhere where I don't have that option, then I need to decide how badly do I want to be in this place. I need to decide how I'm going to deal with potential threats.
Right.
California is a nice place to visit on vacation. I'm not going to lie. It is. But the fact that I can't bring my guns there, okay, I'll just get around it. I can't take my gun with me to a concert here in Michigan. So does that mean I don't go to concerts? Whatever. So just, you deal with it. The thing is, if I knew I wanted to go somewhere where the neighborhood was that bad that I felt like I just could not go there without a firearm, and I decided I'm going to go there anyhow, well, then it's on me at that point.
Yeah.
But I think you should be able to carry everywhere and just, exercise some personal responsibility, but the government don't see it that way, so.
Well, let's not get on that. The government, the federal government also said some gun control is okay, which I'm really pissed off with because that's not okay. Does it say some is okay in the Second Amendment? No, it says shall not be infringed. So that by that right, that judicial footnote saying some is okay isn't in direct violation of the Second Amendment.
Yeah, but don't you think that has more to do with the fact that none of it really works? When you guys come to me with something that actually works, I'll consider it. Until then, everything you've done up to now really hasn't done anything.
Yeah, that does lead me to a thing I was looking at. I was watching a video from Ian from Forgotten Weapons the other day, and he was doing a video in England on the submachine guns that Philip A. Ludi made, because he made back in like the 80s or 90s or something, because he made them without using any firearms parts whatsoever, to prove a point that you can enact all the gun control you want, but people will still find a way around it. And every part of those guns he made himself without using any firearm part. They were all parts you could buy from the hardware store.
Yeah, well, you could make one, but it'd just be easier to drive a truck into a crowd, as we've seen, right? So,
touche, Squib, touche.
I'm just saying the bad guys are going to be bad guys no matter what. They'll make a homemade bomb. They'll use handheld weapons. They'll, what about that? I don't know if it ever really actually happened, but I heard about something about the suicide bombers were putting nails in their vests, and they were dipping them in blood that was contaminated with HIV first, so that anybody who got hit by shrapnel, even if it didn't kill them, they'd get AIDS. Now, I don't know if that's true, if that's a urban legend or what.
I don't think they're that smart.
Well, but the whole thing is, I mean, you could even say, well, then technically they do have a way to use bioterrorism and stuff like that. So, yeah, bad guys are going to do bad things. I mean, whether they're just robbing somebody or they're all the way up to terrorism, whatever, it's just some things make it maybe a little bit more convenient, or they seem more scary, but I mean, the bad guys will always find a way. So no matter what sort of penalties or restrictions you put on everybody, they're not going to follow them. Hence, all that control doesn't do anything. I mean, it inconveniences you and I, but oh well. I mean, there's lots of things that inconvenience. Stoplights inconvenience me. So
yeah, but unlike you, Squib, when it inconveniences me to a certain extent, I will draw a line.
Yeah, I draw the line at, well, then screw it, then I just won't do it.
I will draw the line.
And like, if it's for example, perfect example, getting an FFL. I looked at getting an FFL a couple years back. That's actually how I ended up learning about gun channels, was when I was doing research on how to get an FFL. And once I found out all the crap you had to go through, I said, forget it. It ain't worth it. As much as I would like to do that for a living, no, not really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm building a barn out back. So, and what I'm eventually going to do is I'm going to insulate it and turn it into like an office and whatnot. But I'm still I'm clear. While I have the land cleared, it's just there's a lot of brush and stumps I have to pull out. So I'm in the process of doing that, so I can put up that building. So I can essentially just turn that into like a storefront. So
it's a roll in the ass. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, I know. So I've read up on everything and what I have to do, and I've also read up from other FFLs that if you're going to become an FFL, you have to have a place of business. These kitchen table FFLs they've had them for like 40 years or something. Yeah, it's great that they've got them, but the point is the ATF can decide at any moment that they're going to go in and search and do a sweep of the premises. Not that they normally do that, but they can. And if you have a kitchen table FFL, that means they can search your entire house.
That part of it didn't bother me because, I mean, that's the same people that say the sheriff is going to kick in my door and take my guns tomorrow. Why?
No, it wouldn't be the sheriff. It'd be the police chief.
I'm not worried about that. it was all the paperwork, it was all the waiting, it was the fees, it was getting the amount of security, the amount of just, the licensing and bonding and the blah 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 blah. It's like, dang, and you've got to. I think you have to submit stuff to the local law enforcement too, and you got to do this, you got to do that, and everything just takes forever. It's not like you just fill out a form, pay your fee, in the same amount of time it takes them to mail you a driver's license, you got it. And they gotta. It's just. And I was looking at it back when you could still do a kitchen FFL. Now that they've made it where you can't, it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Well, the upside for me is the property I'm doing it on is in the county, so I don't have to deal with the city police chief. The only person I have to deal with is the sheriff, and I already know the sheriff. I've had several meetings with him already, so I've already made that initial contact point on that part. I know that's a small part of it. It's just like a footnote almost, but the point is I've already got a contact.
But you've got, I deal with building maintenance for a living. So when you have a commercial building, you have a whole different set of rules than if it's your house. Even if you are running out of your house, I don't know where those two mesh. But if you have your own building separate, you got to have fire suppression. You don't have to have that in your house. You've got to have other things as far as regarding code, certain electrical appliances. You're not allowed to use in a commercial building. Now, nobody will know, but if there was a fire and it did start and they did an investigation and they said this wasn't grounded, I don't know, would your insurance pay out? They go, well, you just violated NFPA or whatever. I have no idea, but there's all kinds of stuff,
yeah.
And then, if you're just working for yourself, that's one thing. But if you have employees, then it gets on from there with all the workman's comp and all the. It's it's a mess.
Oh yeah, I'm not planning on hiring anyone.
Yeah.
So not in the immediate future. That's for damn sure.
It's a mess. I was in Valley City, Ohio last April. That's where Jeremy Pozderick from We Like Shooting. That's where his gun store is. And he was showing me the blueprints for his new store, because right now he just operates out of a little, like an office type, that's on the back of a restaurant. And he runs a shop out of there and does all right. But he wants to build, from the ground up, a store, a gun range with classrooms and a whole 9 yards, right? It's a real nice. He showed me the blueprints. I'm like, man, this is a nice setup. He still hasn't even broke ground on it. At least that's what he said on We Like Shooting, because it's just all the red tape and stuff. It's just a pain. So, you gotta.
Well, is he doing that in the county, or is he trying to do that in the city?
I wouldn't really call Valley City a city. I don't even know what it's like. They got two restaurants, a post office, and a VFW post. I mean,
that's besides the point. The issue is it's easy. Don't take this the wrong way, but it's easier to get a building made for a business in a city or a rural environment or not a city, but a county or rural environment than it would be in, say, like, a city, because there's more regulations in the city than there are in a county, generally, no matter where.
If you count a stoplight as a city, then I guess he's in a city right now. But as far as I know, he's building it out in some farmer's field somewhere. So I don't know if it's a city thing or a county thing, but the whole thing is just, he was talking about it on We Like Shooting and just explaining, all the things that are taking so long. And it's just more reinforcement for me that I don't ever want to have to go through that stuff. I mean, you just got to respect somebody who's willing to work their butt off to get their business going, and then work their butt off to, expand their business. It's just something that, I don't know, maybe if I was single and didn't have any kids, maybe I'd have the time to put into it, but that's just a lot of headache.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any kids and I'm single, so there you go.
Well, there you go.
That doesn't mean I don't want to get married at some point, but the issue is I don't see women lining up for me either.
Well, you know what? It's you got to find the right person.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I don't want a liberal woman. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, you know what? They might start out liberal, but they can change their mind.
That's a woman right there, changing her mind all the damn time.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you got to put up with any of the normal women. You know, any of the woman stuff, you're going to put up with any woman. I don't care how bad she is to you, but you know, it just. I think some guys, when they're out there looking for somebody that they want to be with, they set their sights on something that they think will make them happy, but really it's either an unattainable goal or not really a reasonable goal, or they're missing out on something better because they're looking in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of things to be said about you know, getting involved with a woman who has kids. You know, it's like, man, I don't want that drama. Okay, you might not want that drama because there will be drama. But what if her heart's in the right place? And what if those kids really need somebody who wants to really be their dad? You know, because the other guy's not in the picture, or he doesn't want to be in the picture, or whatever. You know, not only do you get somebody special to spend your life with, you know, but you also get a couple kids that you know, you get to raise and help you know, help them become good people instead of just letting the system take care of them. And I know that turns off a lot of guys. They're like, man, I don't want no baggage, but
yeah,
there's some good women out there that are looking for somebody not just to be with, but to help them raise some kids.
Yeah, Squib, I understand what you're saying, and I support the people that do that. But personally, if I'm going to have children, I want them to be my own. You know,
it makes it easier. It makes it easier, but it's not anything that. I mean, at the end of the day, kids are going to love you for what you do, not, you know, where they came from.
I understand that. It's just I want to have my own children. Okay,
but there's also too, if they do have kids and you see how they are as a mom, and you see the warning signs, get out of there quick, because if they're not a very good mom, they're not going to be a very good wife. Get out.
No shit. But all right, so we ruined gun channels. Goodmorninggunchannels.com and gun channels dating for the morning. So let's get on to the important topics.
Yeah,
they ruined it, but hey, whatever. So did you get a chance to watch that movie last night?
I downloaded it, but no, I didn't. I was trying to make up some reloads for today, and that didn't work out either. That went south quick. So I downloaded it. I figured I'd watch it later.
All right.
But thanks for sending me that.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I actually liked that movie. I thought it was pretty good.
I went for a walk during Daily Gun Show, so when I got back, I watched that, and then I started working on my reload setup. I had to change over to 223, and by then I was already doing the pre-show for Lock and Load. You got a show tonight.
Yeah, I do. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight.
You don't?
Nope. We may be winging it like always. No, I won't lie. No, there have been some shows where I have had structure and I have actually thought ahead, you know, instead of just like 5 minutes beforehand. Though a lot of shows I get the ideas 5 minutes beforehand. It's true. But, you know, sometimes I just wing it because, honestly, I'm not as structured as Yankee, G-Webs, or some of the other guys on gun channels that do shows. They have more structure than I do. They can think up of things easier than I can. It's just it takes me a little while.
Well, we usually, right after we go off air on Monday night, well, it's Tuesday morning by then. It's late. We're all tired. Well, Hawaii's not tired because it's still afternoon for him. But Dusty and I are tired, and then we start talking about what should we do for next week. Man, by then my brain is shutting down. I got nothing. So if any of us think of something, we just send an email or a message or something during the week and say, hey, how about this? How about that? But usually it's on Hawaii to come up with an idea.
Yeah, nobody sends me emails like that. It's usually on me to come up with a topic. Unless Smeggy is around and I'm not, and then he comes up with a topic. So. Anyways. I'd like to get outside and do some shooting today, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Bad weather?
Yeah, it's supposed to rain all week.
It's 80 degrees, sunny, and 0% chance of rain today. Couldn't have picked a better day off to do this.
I hate you.
Hey, we don't get that sort of weather in Michigan very often. It's usually overcast, windy, cold, rainy.
40 degrees out.
Yeah, it's just blah. I mean, summers can be really nice here. It's not that bad. If I was filthy stinking rich, I'd have a winter home in Arizona and a summer home in Michigan. But you know, some days it's just you take the day off and you take a crapshoot on the weather. I mean, you got the same thing there.
Yeah.
You take a crapshoot on the weather. So.
I mean, if you ever been to South Carolina, they say if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you could have something roll in off the coast, you know, and that might not necessarily be predictable.
No, the hurricanes are pretty predictable here.
Well, no, I just mean like wind or rain, just not necessarily a hurricane.
Yeah, no. Anyways, so what else is going on?
I'm stuck in a traffic jam on US 23.
Awesome, I love traffic jams.
Yeah, and I can't speed because I passed 2 state troopers and the sheriff, and they're just running up and down the road, pulling people over. So even if I wasn't stuck in a traffic jam, I gotta keep an eye on my speed here. I'm not getting pulled over with 4 guns in the truck. That would.
Yeah. Squib, Clay is asking today, do we get proof of Dusty?
Yeah, sure. He's real. I mean, I've seen him before. I mean, not on camera, but
yeah. Well, so, no one else has, so they're not sure he exists because they don't see his hands. We all know G-Webs is just the talking dog, and you know the guy that's showing his hands all the time. That guy's just mute. The dog does all the talking for him.
Well, I mean, ventriloquism, I guess, or
yeah, that's what it is. Ventriloquism. No, that's a joke that's been going around on gun channels. That, you know, G-Webs is really the Doberman, and you know,
because all you ever see is Oro, you don't ever see him, or just see his hands. Yeah,
you just see his hands, or in some rare cases where he's sitting down, he sees legs. That's only because he's wearing shorts because he's working on the van. So. Anyways.
Yeah, I've been able to catch more shows or jump in on some of the shows because it's been slow at work, but probably by the end of the month or beginning of next month it'll pick up, plus the kids will be back in school, so I won't have as much time to hang out on gun channels. It's been kind of nice just having it slow and having a little free time to do that.
Yep. Sorry, I had to mess with my security cabinet because I can't afford a giant safe. And I'm not going to bring it up the second flight of stairs.
You know, what you do is you can either take the door off and strap it to a dolly, and that'll help. Or you have somebody pull, or you can take the door off and you lay it on its back, and you grab the top inside, and the other guy grabs the bottom inside. You pick it up from the inside, just reach your hands inside, and just lift it straight up. It's not as heavy as you think once you do that. Or if you can slide it on its back.
I'm not sure that the floor can support the weight of the safe I want.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's the first thing. The second thing is the doorways and the hallways in this house are from 1967 when people were as skinny as a cigarette.
Okay. Well, they do smell. They sell smaller safes. You could,
Yeah.
Then you might end up having to get 2 or 3 safes.
Yeah.
So.
And at that point, the smallest one I've seen is like a 10-gun safe, and they're like $299, $300. At that point, I'm not getting 2 or 3 of those. I'm sorry. I just have a 24-gun with stack-on security cabinet. I'm just going to use that until I can, get a big, nice safe and put it on the first floor.
Yeah. My safes aren't full yet, but I was thinking about getting another one just because it's such a hassle if you're trying to get the one gun in the back and you got to go through a bunch to get to them. Just spread them out a little bit more.
I have thought about getting stuff since I have so many AR-15s and not assault style rifles, but rifles of the same styling, we'll say. The thing I've been looking at is maybe going and getting one of those M16 stands. Those what do they call them? Those stands, the rifle racks. The military surplus ones. Because I have so many AR-15s in M4, and I have one in an M16 variant, or as far as aesthetics, that I could legitimately get one of those and put all of my, cool rifles on that and be done with it. The issue is,
if you were trying to lock them up and you didn't have enough room, you could always just take off the uppers and lock up the lowers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I've been thinking about just getting one of those racks just for the hell of it and putting it right next to the, the security cabinet and, I don't know, bolting it to the security cabinet if I could.
Yeah, you could run a steel cable through the, I suppose you just run it through trigger guards, but.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When I lock up my guns, I normally I have trigger locks on all my guns in my safe. Or not my safe, my security cabinet. I'm sorry. I know there's a difference between the two. So in my security cabinet, I have all my guns with trigger locks on them. I know that doesn't help, but it makes me feel safer. No. And I know those don't always work, but the issue is I'm trying to be safe. I'm not trying to be,
Oh, there's nothing wrong with taking additional measures. It's all up to individual, whatever your situation is, whatever you're comfortable with. I mean, some people leave everything out and loaded. Okay. Some people lock everything up or double lock it. Okay. Whatever works.
Yeah, it makes me feel safe. It makes the other members of my family that live with me, it makes them safe. That's it. So.
Smeggy was packing up for today on Sunday, and I was thinking, man, I can't do that. I can't leave all that stuff out with the kids in the house. And I realized, wait a minute, kids are up north with Grandma and Grandpa. So I started dragging out ammo and stuff like that. I said, no, I'll leave the guns in the safe. But what I should have done is I should have moved them all to the front or moved them all to one safe instead of having to go to different safes to get them.
And that's the one thing about having more than one safe that I really don't want to have a hassle with.
Yeah. But when I go to move, I don't want to have to move one really big safe. But ideally, if I had a big vault in a garage that was bolted to the floor, that would probably be the best situation.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing. When I got the security cabinet, I only had about between 3 and 5 guns. And then I got more after I bought it.
Oh yeah, yeah, that happens.
So
Look, when you open the door and they start falling out, hitting you in the head, it's time for another one.
shit. Shit, I'm having that already.
Yeah. Well, then you're gonna need another, man.
Oh God, not another one.
Yeah, but see, when you get one, right, you put one gun in there and you go, it's all alone.
It's all up. You see, that's what I've been saying.
Then you buy more guns.
Right. You got me. You got me, Squib. You understand.
Or you could do this. If you want to turn an open room into you want to build a wall, what you do is you make a wall out of the gun safes. So you divide off a room by using the gun safes as a half wall or something.
Clay, or Angry, the issue was I wasn't sure whether to count the SKS or not because I can only shoot brass through it. That's why I said 3 to 5. And I don't know about making another wall. There's too many walls already.
Make it huge.
No, I'm not gonna make it Trump Tower sized.
Huge.
No. Otherwise, I'd have to put mines in it, or mines around it, because we have to have human salsa.
You expect Suburbans to roll up to your safe?
Yes, I do. And Squib, what was that? You were breaking up.
We're gonna build a wall. It's gonna be bigly.
It's gonna be bigly. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be the best wall ever.
I had an interesting morning.
What's up?
I found a torso.
Okay. Of what?
Of a human being on the way to work.
Okay.
No head, no arms, no legs. I'm waiting for the news to post the story. I called it in this morning on the way to work. Creeped me the fuck out, man. That was like a cartel style body dumping.
Did they take you down to the station for questioning?
Nope, I just called it in.
Anonymous.
I passed by it and I stopped and I did a double take and I'm like, that's a human torso. It was wearing a brown t-shirt and white shorts. There was no arms, no legs, and no head. It was face down and it was up against a parking post next to an abandoned church. Yeah, freaked me out. I called in. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I just saw a human torso on the side of the road. And they're like, seriously? Yeah, seriously. It's like I'm driving on my way to work. I passed by it. I stopped and looked twice and drove on.
And Sean, Angry is saying he saw White Tiger. He said it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, it is.
It was. I watched the rest of it yesterday, and I got to tell you, they did a pretty good job with that movie. I didn't think they would be able to. You know,
that's a low-budget film, too.
And here's the thing. They even actually were able to get the aspect of the American Lend-Lease in there, too, if you look, because of the Jeep that's going around in that. Though I wasn't sure whether that was a Ford or a Willys.
If you're talking about the one that the officer was driving around in, that's actually a Gaz Russian Jeep.
It looks exactly like a Willys, though.
It's very similar, yes. There might have been a Jeep in there, too, though. I could be wrong. I just remember there was an officer's vehicle, which was a Gaz. But I think you're probably right. It's probably in there. I remember that sub-movie I was trying to tell Raphael yesterday. If he's here, or when he's here, remind me and I'll tell him what it is. I watched the first half of it last night before I went to bed. It's good.
I watched that movie. It wasn't a Gaz that he was driving. He was driving a Willys.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure there's probably more than one vehicle in there, so I mean, it makes sense.
And I know because the Willys has the flat front. The Gazes have the rounded front.
Well, I mean, all the Jeeps have the flat front. But if it had, like, 11 slots in the grill, that's a Ford-made one.
Yeah.
It's called a GPW.
We weren't sure whether it was one of the Ford or the other manufacturers that made it, but I originally thought it was just the Willys.
Yeah, the grill is definitely a telltale. No, you know what? You might be right. There might have been a CJ5 that was painted up to like a military Jeep in there. I think I remember that.
Yeah. Well, CJ5 is fine. I can deal with a CJ5 mocked up.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks okay.
Wow, Clay just called you out. Sean and his BS stories, always making gross shit up.
I wish that would be the case. If what I saw is real, there's going to be a story in the news later about it. And I'll give you the link to it. It freaked me out, man. Like, you don't see that in my area hardly ever. I almost stopped. Then I thought, I don't want to go downtown. I don't want to answer questions. I don't want to miss a day of work for this shit. So I just called it in. And what was funny was I wasn't the only one who stopped. Like, after I took off, someone else stopped where I stopped, and I saw him look over. So it was weird.
Angry's kind of right. The torso isn't gross, but if it was in like sushi bits, then that would be gross.
No, it was just there's like this little what developers do out there.
And yes, James, the Ford GPW and the Willys were built the same. It's because during the war, there were many manufacturers that made those Jeeps for the United States military.
The grills were different. It's the only major difference.
Yeah.
They're already starting on me. Grab it.
Wow, Angry. That is mean. Wow. Yeah, but if he gave it a head, it wouldn't feel like it deserved it. Well, all right. I'll keep that in mind if something happens to you. I'll tell someone to go out and get something for you. Oh, right. We can't do that because we're not liberals, right? Only they can talk about touchy-feely type of things.
So, did the police ask for your name, or did
AFK.
Did they give you a cell number? Or?
He had to go take care of something. He'll be back.
Okay. I'm just surprised that if you report it, that they don't come knocking on the door at your work or something. And
yeah, I'm surprised about that too.
it's a little trafficy on the expressway today.
Yeah, what did you do to deserve such traffic?
I don't know. Middle of the day, middle of the week, kind of weird, but okay, sure.
Clay is saying he got a visit from some detectives.
Yeah, that's what he had to step away. Sean, there's a couple guys asking for you.
Yeah, we won't see Sean for, another 48 hours. About as long as they can hold him, right?
If you hear some noise in the background, I know my rights!
Well, no, he's got himself muted.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I mean, I could unmute him, I think. Not sure. No, I can't. So. But he knows his rights. So. Wow, Angry, that is bad. That is bad even for you, Angry. Angry just went and posted hashtag Torso Tuesdays. That's bad.
I know, but it's funny.
It is funny. I'm not saying it's not funny. I'm just saying that's bad. Gotta tell that one to Sean when he gets back.
Henceforth, they will forever be known as Torso Tuesdays with Sean Connery.
Clay said too soon. And we're saying, nah, Tim the Torso don't care. Wow, we're already naming it? Man.
What if it was some sort of mannequin or something and somebody threw it in there as a bad joke?
I can believe that. That kind of shit happens all the time.
Oh, that was an easy $9,500. See, sometimes they're worth answering the phone for.
What happened?
I made $9,500 just now.
What?
$9,500.
How?
I sold a bunch of shit.
Oh, you mean at work?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sean. Apparently,
he gave the
they
torso
said
a name.
Yeah, no. Oh, it's even better. Clay, when you walked away, Clay said he got a visit from some detectives.
No, it was just a call.
And Angry said hashtag Torso Tuesdays.
You, that really ruined tacos for tonight.
Clay said too soon, and Angry said, nah, Tim the Torso don't care.
Right.
And then he said, and yes, I have bestowed a name upon it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Situationally, last night would have been the perfect time for whoever did this to do this, because it rained so hard that visibility was like less than 50 yards. So if somebody pulled up to that spot and dropped off a body, no one would have seen him in the middle of the night. It rained that hard. Like, all the bayous are flooded in my area today, and we're getting more in a couple hours.
Yeah.
And all the rain probably washed out whatever blood was left in it, because I didn't see any blood. Of course, it could have got soaked into the grass overnight.
Could it have been a mannequin?
No. No. I could see the protrusions. You know how you've got those little blades behind your shoulders in your back that kind of make little points? I saw that through the shirt. They don't put those on mannequins. Scapulas, I think they're called.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those. You could see the protrusions of those in the torso. I mean, like, the dude was dressed up like a soccer fan or something, because it was like a brown jersey-like shirt, and it had a logo on the back. I don't know. Like, if it makes the news, then what I saw is legit. If it didn't make the news, then maybe it wasn't what I thought I saw. But I know that I wasn't the only one who stopped to look. It was weird. It was really weird. Okay, so you and Angry saw White Tiger, and I want to ask you something based on the ending of that movie. Ready? No, wait, he's not here. Damn it. Do it later then. There's something that happens at the end of the movie that really...
I will be right back.
See, look, he ain't even here for that. Anyway, the that weirdo sub movie that I was talking to Raphael about yesterday, the one about the British sub that disappeared in World War II, and then it popped up out of the water off the coast of like the Soviet Union right before the height of the Cold War in the 80s. It's called Ghost Boat, and it was a 2-part miniseries like movie that the BBC or somebody did. ITV actually, I think, did it, but it's really creepy and it's pretty good. And they actually use a legitimate, I think it's a British S-class boat, they call it. It's got what looks like a lantern on the prow, like the shape of the front of a lantern on the prow. But it's a pretty good movie. That would be like my movie of the day for required viewing or whatnot. I got about halfway through it, and I'm gonna watch the other half tonight. It's only 2 hours. It's just my copy is in 2 pieces. I think it's on Amazon Video too, so I mean, like anybody who's got a Prime account should be able to watch it. And I do have Grey Lady down, and the copy I do have is the 1978 version. So, like, I had the 2 names backwards. Welcome to an exciting edition of Tim the Torso Tuesday.
Although it does now, Night Strike can have a topic for tonight.
What's that?
Tonight on Hit or Miss, tanks and torsos.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, what do you do when you come across a dead body?
Well, yeah, that could be one of them, and the other you can go over, or he can go over to White Tiger movie.
That'd be cool. Yeah, last night I actually spent some time trying to mod a mod, essentially. And because I've been playing Cold Waters, and whoever set up the Typhoon Red October silent drive, they got the top speed wrong. They've got the weapons layout wrong. They got the acceleration and deceleration time wrong. They got the conning tower up too high, so periscope depth always makes you broach or breach. So like I've been slowly fixing it. And I actually sent a PM to the guy who made the mod. I was like, hey, I made some changes to your Red October. I'm like, based on some of the information in the books and the movie, because in his setup, the Red October only does 14 knots underwater in silent drive, and that's not even close to top speed. Because in the movie, Connery or Ramius actually tells the helmsman to speed up to 26 knots when they're doing the run through Thor's Twins. And when he confirms the order, he says all ahead full, and then it goes, we're on the next leg of the run, 8 minutes and something seconds to the next turn at 26 knots, which means all ahead full makes 26 knots underwater, which is 12 knots faster than this guy's mod is set up at flank speed. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to change that. So I modified that, and now I got it doing I think 45 knots at flank underwater, but it'll do 27 knots at all ahead full. Or sorry. It'll do 45 knots at flank speed. It'll do 36 knots at all ahead full. And all ahead standard will do 26, just like the movie. So it's actually behaving more like it should in the movie. And now I'm tweaking the acceleration curve because it takes off too slow. Typhoon's a big boat though. So one of the things that was missing in the Red October model in the game was it didn't have a vertical launching system, which if you watch the movie, it absolutely has VTOLs. Because, god damn it, someone's calling me again. I'll be right back.
So for those of you who aren't familiar with Michigan, I-94 runs from Detroit through the bottom part of Michigan, comes out in Indiana, and goes towards Chicago. I think it ends in Billings, Montana somewhere, something like that. But out here it's all farm country and whatnot. We're coming up on Jackson, Michigan. It's I don't know how big of a city you want to call it. It's a small city, I guess. But Jackson's most well known in Michigan for the prison there. So if you ever hear somebody from Michigan say something about you'll wind up in Jackson or something like that, they're referring to the prison. I think there's a state and a federal, or there's a county and a state there, something like that. Kind of like Leavenworth, but for Michigan. So as far as, if you hear somebody say, they wound up in Leavenworth, they're talking about the Army's prison at the base there, but there's also a prison out in town, the state or federal or county or something, one there for Kansas as well. If you keep on 94 west towards Chicago, you'll end up in a city called Kalamazoo. Just past Battle Creek, which is where Kellogg's is. And in Kalamazoo, they have the Kalamazoo Air Zoo, which is a really serious museum. And I know along here somewhere, it's probably closer to the west end of the state, they've got an outlet for one of the state's wineries. Since they grow a lot of fruit in Michigan, they make a lot of wine. Michigan wine's not bad at all.
I'm back, by the way. So let the fun commence.
I'm just doing a little tourism.
Awesome.
Michigan's in one of them places where it's not a pass-through state, so we don't get a lot of revenue from that. You got these states where people drive through, like New Mexico or Ohio. You have no choice but to go through there. So they can write a lot of tickets for people who are out of state and make money that way, and they can make money off of hotels and restaurants and gas and stuff like that. And here, a lot of it's the local stuff. People don't come in from other states to come to Michigan unless they're going to visit relatives or something. It's not like there's nothing to do here, but it's not set up like other places with tourism. They advertise out of state. They've got a campaign called the Yes Michigan campaign here in Michigan, which doesn't make sense. I consider that a big waste of money because people that live here know what's here, but trying to bring people in. But because it's not a pass state, it's kind of out of the way. They were trying to get conventions into Detroit, but that didn't work out so well. It's just it's not really too touristy for out of state, but in state, all the people that are in South Michigan work in the auto industry, or most of the people, and they try to get away from it when they can, so they go up to northern Michigan for the tourism. So a lot of our tourism on the citizens.
Oh, everyone's back. Nice.
Yeah. I got more coffee. I'm refreshed. Ready to conquer the chats.
All right. So let me ask you a question about the end of that movie. Ready?
All
right.
Go for it.
So at the very end of the movie, it's going to spoil it slightly for everyone who hasn't watched it yet. But
if you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Should I wait?
No, go ahead.
Or maybe I'll just PM it to you.
I already know. I already have an idea of what it is. So you don't have to.
All right. So was that guy even real?
Which one?
Our hero of the movie. Is he even real? Like, was he really even there?
Yeah.
Are you sure? That's why I'm asking you, because the ending of the movie was very ambiguous. He's sitting there talking to the commander. And then he tells the commander that he has to still go out there and hunt it down. Then he turns away, and when the commander turns around, it's all gone. There's nothing there. Like, no tank, no commander, no sound. Like, it was never there in the first place. Which makes me wonder if the whole thing was just a delusion.
Oh, that's not the ending you should be talking about.
Like Shutter Island, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand, but it may have been that that guy had turned into or replaced that tank.
No, but the thing is he's sitting on it. He's talking to the commander. Commander just kind of brushes it aside, basically. He climbs back into it, and when the commander turns around, it's gone. He didn't hear it accelerate. He didn't hear it start up. It didn't move. There were no tracks on the ground. There was no smoke in the distance. It was
so the same thing with that ghost tank.
There. Exactly. So was our hero real?
I'd like to think he was.
Because the ending was just as creepy as the.
That's not the ending though. That's just right before the ending. The ending is even more ambiguous because it's got him talking to some guy sitting in a chair across from him in front of a fireplace.
Exactly.
What the hell? He had already committed suicide months prior to the end of the war.
See, none of it makes sense at the end. It's like, what the hell what just happened?
maybe it's alluding to maybe they want to do a sequel or something during the Cold War.
Nope. Impossible. Because they would have done it already.
True.
I think the whole thing was just something like it was a delusion. It has to be. Because everything makes sense until that one moment. And then you're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Because then you have to go back to thinking about the very beginning of the movie. And it's like, nobody would have survived that. And nobody would have made a full recovery. That's the first thing that made it hokey. Like made you question its reality, the guy's reality or existence. It was weird. Like, that's what makes it really good, though. Anyway, wait till you see Ghost Boat, because it has that same flavor.
Yeah.
But even a cooler ending. It's even the ending to that one's creepy. Plus, you get to see a British S-class, go through its paces, which is awesome.
Sean, here's an idea. Okay, what if they were actually real, but they weren't a figment of his imagination? You do realize that wars create ghosts, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is,
what if that tank and that commander were ghosts of that war?
It could be. That's why I'm saying he wasn't real anymore. Because the thing is
well, they were real at one point, but
every engagement he was in, he was alone.
Yeah.
So there was no witnesses, ever. That's what makes it creepy. That's what makes it great.
Are you saying ghost tank, like ghost gun?
Like
no, ghost tank as in it moves by itself and it doesn't exist.
Like it's not real, but it was like a haunting type thing. Vengeful spirit or something,
Yeah.
But so was the White Tiger then, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
But see, the thing about the White Tiger is they did explain that it was constructed, which means it was built, which means that wasn't a fake, or that wasn't supposed to be a fake. Supposedly. No. I remember Wargaming actually did an event where the players, you could select that game mode, and it would be 15 T-34s. If you played that mode, you would be in a T-34 mod 1, and you would go up against one White Tiger, and the White Tiger was usually controlled by a staff member playing against you, not an AI. And the funny thing was, it looked like a modified Porsche Tiger, and it had something like 150,000 hit points. You couldn't kill it. He would kill all 15 of you before you kill it. But if you did somehow manage to kill it, then that person got I think it was 30 days of premium for free or something.
Yeah.
Plus, it's 105 main gun. I think it had a reload of 12 seconds. It was fast. I loved it. Like, I wanted it so bad in my collection in the game. I was like, give us the white tiger. I was like, it doesn't have to have 150,000 HP. I was like, you can give it, I don't know, 1,500.
Make it a tier 10.
Yeah, I asked that. I said, can you make it a tier 10? Can you give it like 2,800 HP, close to a mouse or something? I don't know. It's been really cool. I was all about that.
Can you just use a normal tiger and just put a white skin on it?
I did. There's a mod for it for the Porsche Tiger, so you can make it look like a white tiger. And that's exactly what I did for over a year.
But towards the end of that movie, where they shoot the tiger and they disable it.
Yeah.
At the beginning, when you go into that town, there's another tiger sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
And you think, wait, did they just find it? Did they kill it? And then the commander says, no, that's not ours.
Right, because it was just a regular Henschel tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked how they explained the guy who created the white tiger prototype in the movie. Like, basically, they made it sound like he was a mad scientist type. I was like, that's awesome. And he died after making the first one or whatever. I was like, whoa.
Maybe perhaps the white tiger was taking revenge on
The one thing I know for
killers
certain,
of its creator.
the battle sequences in the white tiger were better than the battle sequence with the real tiger in Fury. And that's sad because Fury had a huge budget.
Yeah, but was the budget to pay the actors' salaries more than the actual props?
Probably. I mean, I don't know. Like, they had genuine M4s. They had two different models of M4 Sherman in that movie. They had an M4A1, and then they had an M4A2 E8. The Easy 8. That's what Fury was. It was an Easy 8. But in that one scene where they fight the tiger, I think there was two A1s also, and one had the fresh out of the pool look, so it had the 105 howitzer on it. And then Fury had the 76 HP. I didn't like the Star Wars tracers in Fury. That kind of hurts me a little bit. The smoke shows, though, that was a great effect. They did a really good job on that. They need to bring it all together. Like, there needs to be there's going to have to be a tank movie about the Battle of Kursk. Or Minsk. Was it Minsk or Kursk? I think it's Kursk. Because that was huge. That was like one of the biggest tank battles in history. There needs to be a movie on that. I'm sure there's probably an old one. I mean, a new one with special effects. Anyway, next required viewing, Ghost Boat.
Which one's Ghost Boat? Gray Lady Down?
I thought it was Gray Lady Down. I got the naming wrong. It's called Ghost Boat.
Ghost Boat, all right.
It aired on ITV, I think back in 2012, something like that. It's a two-part thing, but it's pretty good. Like the action sequences in an S-boat are pretty good. And it's kind of cool because it's like, I think it's 38 or 40 years after World War II. This thing just pops up out of the ocean out in Russian waters. And it's like, I think late 1981 or early 1982, and the world is supposedly on the brink of nuclear war. And in one of the scenes, this ghost boat, they were supposed to do like a test fire drill. And all of a sudden they had a contact that was flooding their tubes in front of them. So like this British naval commander, he's controlling the operation, but there's a captain on board, right? He overrides the captain's order, and then he convinces the captain to fire on the ship or the contact. Like he thinks that the captain knows that there's training torpedoes in there. They don't have warheads, right? But the commander is starting to like lose his marbles, and he keeps telling the captain to fire. The captain's like, if you fire on a Russian nuclear sub, they're going to blow us out of the water and World War III will begin, right? And he says, I don't care. He's like, they're flooding their tubes. You need to fire, at least to scare them. He fires the tubes. Both tubes pass, or both torpedoes go out, hot, straight, and normal. And then like 30 seconds later, explosion. And they're all looking at each other like, I thought those were training torpedoes. Did we just sink a Russian nuclear sub?
And yes, Angry, I know. I was trying not to do spoilers, Angry.
Anyway.
Though we did a whole horrible job of it. And
it wasn't too bad.
All right. Yeah. I'll go look that one up next.
Ghost Bug. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, Angry, thanks for spoiling it for those who haven't seen it yet. Good job.
He's talking about Tiger.
The White Tiger. Yeah, he just spoiled it for everyone. So everyone give Angry a hand.
Did he answer my question about the existence and the reality thing?
No, he was talking about what I was talking, the actual end of the movie. Of who in front of the fireplace.
Okay. See, he looks at it kind of like the way I see it. And then, like, the commander, though, that's the weird thing. The commander saw him, spoke to him, And then what's really weird is he never second-guessed him. Like, even after the end where he disappeared. Like, he didn't second-guess it. Like, did I just see something? Was that all just fake? Was I thinking all this shit up? I don't know. It's a great movie, though. Leave it up to the Ruskies to make an awesome war flick.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Well, they did another one called Stalingrad.
That
one was weird because it starts off in Japan. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then he's like a disaster search and rescue dude or whatever. And then he starts talking about his experiences back in World War II. That was a pretty good movie. There were some really slow parts in there, like that girl's birthday scene or whatever.
Now, Sean, say that was pretty good movie in your Russian accent.
That was a very good movie.
There you go.
I'm just waiting for me to say Baba Yaga.
What? Baba
Yaga? Waiting
for
me to say Baba Yaga.
There you go. No, because I don't see Keanu Reeves around anywhere.
Right.
So we can't have John Wick.
Well, no, because like Baba Yaga, I knew that long
Baba
before,
Yaga.
And I think it was because of. I want to say that character was in like the Curse of Monkey Island or something like that back in the early '90s. There was a game and they mentioned that name a lot.
I have them all.
Yeah.
That when Baba Yaga was not in that. I know because I have them all. I play them on a semi-normal basis.
Well, it's either that or it's a game like it. It might have been Loom. I can't remember. I just remember I've seen that name before, like before that movie.
It means boogeyman in Russian.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I have all the Monkey Island games. Even that one that was done all in 3D that was awful. That they had on the PS2. I didn't get it for the PS2. I got it for the PC, but still.
I think the first one was probably the best one. I just remember the crypt scene creeped me out.
That was the second one.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's like
well, which crypt scene are you talking about?
It's like where you have to go into a crypt to find something, and then like I just remember that there was some of the tombs were partially open, and like this dude's foot was sticking out. And I was like, ugh. Yeah,
that's the second one where you have to go into the cemetery to get some of the ash.
Yeah, that's it.
But were there any torsos?
No, there were no torsos.
Okay.
The third one was worse, where you had to get out of the cemetery because you got, you were thrown into Guybrush was thrown into a coffin. I liked the third one more than I liked the second one.
I got that game because it was it came in a bundle. Like I bought one of the very first CD-ROMs ever to exist at the time. Creative Labs made a kit where you got the drive. It was a caddy-fed one.
Mm-hmm.
So you put the disc in the caddy, and then you stick the caddy in the drive, right? And it came with Loom, Monkey Island, which I thought was the first one. But you probably, if you played it recently, you know better than I do.
Yeah.
And it came with Loom, and it came with it came with Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've got
I
that
used to
one.
love that game.
That game was great. I like that one.
Like I always did the bomber campaign. But the thing is like I put that game back on my old DOS box. God, the graphics were shitty.
Yeah, I know, but still, at the time, though, it's a cool game to play.
Yeah, it was.
I'm a big fan of old adventure games from LucasArts.
Yeah.
Though I like all kinds of adventure games, from the other companies, because there was also Space Quest.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sierra did a ton of them.
Sierra, I didn't like the Police Quest games. I didn't like King's Quest either. Space Quest, I didn't like King's Quest.
Space Quest was supposed to be funny.
I like Space Quest because it was more like Monkey Island.
Holy shit, dude! It's Tuesday. I'll be right back.
Good luck. But yeah, I played a lot of those games. Favorite.
I guess they gave up. Anyway, King's Quest was okay. Like the first 3 or 4 were pretty good. The EGA ones.
Yeah.
Police Quest SWAT, I think it was. That one was really good. But it was back when Fire and OpenGL were the thing. And there was like animation scenes. And then to keep you from cheating, they would ask you certain questions when you went to the SWAT briefing about like, you are at so-and-so elevation with a 3-knot wind and you're about to perform a cold bore shot. What kind of adjustments do you need to make? And I just remember my brain melted every time I got like, time on target questions when I was like 9 years old. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I mean, but Police Quest wasn't really my favorite. So, I mean, I always liked the Monkey Island games. There's also the Indiana Jones games.
Oh, yeah. Fate of Atlantis was good. Last Crusade was good.
The Last Crusade, I'd say, was my favorite. Just because you could go into the castle. It's like, hi, I'm selling these nice, fine leather jackets.
Oh.
And you can convince a German officer to give you marks for these jackets.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
Because back in those days, even in the 40s and 50s and 60s, the whole door-to-door salesman was still a thing. So,
want to guess what this is? I'll give you a clue. It's going to Apache Junction.
it's Jimmy's package?
Yes.
His care package?
Yes.
When am I going to get a care package?
When you start shooting big bore.
I'd be afraid. I would be afraid to shoot what Sean puts in those care packages.
You saw Jimmy shoot them.
Yeah, but I also heard about what happened to Tony, so I don't know.
I didn't load Tony's. Tony loaded Tony's.
I know.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Regular bag? Cool. Thanks. All right.
Can see why Dusty has so many problems getting on for lock and load. The reception out here is terrible.
It looks like it.
I'm probably roboting.
No, but your video is.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
You might want to just turn your video
Hey,
off.
Sean, for your next reload show, you said you're going to do 44 Magnum?
Yeah, I think so. I got a bunch, so.
I look forward to seeing that.
Yep. Yeah, I'll probably do it Saturday again. Ooh, 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 ooh. There we go. Oh shit, I got the camera on still. You guys got butt view earlier when I stuck my phone in my pocket. Yeah, you actually might get to see me hydraulically crush a case. Barry's bullets don't give very much either. Oh wait, I can just freaking send Jimmy a picture of the label. Duh. Cool. Now he's got a tracking number. I didn't do that the first 3 times because I thought it was going to get there quickly. I could just slip my mind. This time I was like, I'll take a picture of the label for him. Looks like shit up there. On to the next 2. My to-do list this week is actually short. Kind of nice.
Lots and lots of corn.
Corn.
Cornfield trees, cornfield trees.
I see a lot of that by my place too. There's a minimum security prison about corn all over that area. It's a prison farm. I had a buddy actually had to work that farm. He was serving, I think, 2 years. And
Hey, do they have a prison rodeo down there?
you know, if they do, I've never really heard much about it. Like, I haven't looked into it. I don't think so, though.
You know, where they take the $100 bill, they tie it between the bull's horns, and they let all the prisoners try to get it?
It's like Death Race.
Kinda.
And Tony's finally awake.
Entertainment.
He's not awake. He just came back from squirrel hunting.
Oh, that's probably what that was.
Get any?
No,
What's the matter with you,
I had to recite the guns in.
slacker? What you been doing all morning then?
Driving to the forest and back, and then back to the forest and then back. Morning, guys.
Morning.
Welcome back, Tony.
I got this. You're going out to a dishwasher or a washing machine or a dryer. I've got this old 21-inch CRT monitor I want to put around, or 27-inch CRT monitor. I want to put around through that. Watch it explode. I kept it as a spare just in case my LCDs died or whatever. But it's heavy and it takes up a bunch of space, and I don't need it. It's time to pop it in the liver. You missed it, Tony. We were talking about supernatural war films. Weird war films. I did 2 required viewings, one yesterday and one today.
What were they?
One of them is called The White Tiger, or Belly Tiger. It's a Russian film. There's a link, or Night Strike has a link to it on YouTube with English subtitles. Really good. And today's was a movie called Ghost Boat, which was a British sub movie about the Cold War.
Yeah.
Actually, it's about World War II and the Cold War.
I will repost the YouTube link. There we go.
It's really good.
What the hell is the one where the modern ship went back in time and caught the Japs steaming toward Pearl Harbor?
The Final Countdown.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was the USS Nimitz, CVN 68.
I don't think I had that one.
That's probably one of the better ones of that ilk out there.
I might check that out.
Yeah, I like the fact they show how the ship goes to general quarters. They show in-flight refueling. They show how they do a recovery without if the aircraft can't get its tail hooked down. They show a lot of good Navy stuff as far as actually how the Navy really does things. The Zeros in the movie are actually T6s painted.
Yeah.
But it's a really good scene where the dogfight between the Zeros and the F-14s.
What?
Yeah.
There's another movie I liked. It's based off of the ship that they were doing testing on during World War II. The one that disappeared, the Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia Experiment.
Yes, that's a good movie.
Cool. He's a nice guy. It's just he's so needy. I'm talking about the dude who just spent 10 grand. Anyway, so the final countdown. Huh? Let's watch that.
And Sean,
Yeah,
you've seen the Philadelphia Experiment, right?
Yeah, that's the isn't that the one with the disappearing boat or something like that?
Yeah, where
Yeah.
It disappeared from one harbor and appeared in another
Yeah.
at the same time.
That would be. See, so I guess it's gonna be this week's theme is gonna be supernatural war films.
About naval ships.
Well, it could be anything. It's just we did Russian armored.
I want to see a supernatural World War II submarine. I know you already brought up the British one there. What about Below?
Is that the Ed Harris one?
The submarine? It's got, is it Lee Greenwood?
I have Below. Because like
The sub's
there's
haunted
that
or
one.
something?
Yeah, there's below. There's shit. I just brain farted. Signs of aging.
Yeah.
There's this one called Phantom. It's got Michael Fichtner in it, and I think Liam Neeson actually.
Not Lee Greenwood, Bruce Greenwood. Ugh, what an idiot. Bruce Greenwood.
I had never considered this as an actual genre. It's a pretty good choice, actually.
Yeah, there's so many good ones too. It's like, okay, some of them are really hokey, right? But most of the ones we've been suggesting, they're all really good. Like some of them are even believable to a point. You're like, yeah.
Were you talking about Below?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
There's Below. There's Phantom. Phantom's got David Duchovny in it, I think. Him and Michael Fichtner. Who's the new Top Gear America host, by the way.
So the theme this week is supernatural war movies.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be like armored or subs only. I happened to pick. Yesterday was Russian armored. Today was British submarine. And then we can all just bang heads on what's next.
Lend itself to the naval side of it.
I like the final countdown for tomorrow. That'd be cool. Like I want to see it now.
It was a really
That's actually really good.
Yeah. See, we have created a thing this week on Gun Channels. How about that? Watch, G's gonna steal it. It'll be on the Daily Gun Show in a week.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's cool. Imitation is the finest form of flattery.
For those out there watching, this is GoodMorningGunChannels.com with YouTube Gun Channel celebrities such as Sean Ponery, Squib, Tony, and Night Strike. If you don't know why this is being hosted on my channels, because I quarked Sean, and
Cool.
Quarking is basically
you got celebrities. I in.
Squib, you're a celebrity. Shut up. You're on HVS's show almost every week.
I'm the voice of reason on HVS's show.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's enough reason for him.
If he was watching right now, he'd say, "You don't like movies, but you just named off a bunch of movies." I've always told him that I like watching movies. But here I am.
Yeah. But anyways,
I forgot to use the words like every other word.
I don't do that all the time.
No, he does. Like I tried to play on a lock and load, and I had to change the rules that you take a shot after every 30 ENOs because I would have died of alcohol poisoning in the first 20 minutes.
But yeah,
for that. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah.
I want to mention because people aren't gonna understand unless they watch other gun channel stuff of what quarking is. The definition of quarking is starting a chat before somebody else does, or just right as they're trying to do theirs.
Yeah, I was like I was getting ready to post the link, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's already one up there for today. Cool.
I am uncorkable.
Well, that's because you don't start chats.
Exactamundo.
You just
You know
them.
somebody's show's going to start at 7 o'clock, and you start yours at 6:55. Kill the audience. That's quarking.
That sounds like a shooting it with Yankee right there.
Well, that's only if you like to do chats in high heels.
Naked behind the camera.
I don't have a problem with any of that.
Oh. Anyways, so yeah. Don't forget to go to gearwebsites.com and help us support gun channels and help us give G-Webs a couple extra dimes. They got patches on gearwebsites.com. They got t-shirts, hoodies, stickers. I think there's still a couple bayonets left if you want an AK bayonet. So go to gearwebsites.com and get some gear and help us keep the site running. And if you're not a member of gunchannels.com already, go to gunchannels.com, sign up. It's free, and be part of the conversation. All right, back to the chatting. That's enough infomercials.
You forgot the damned PSA ad.
Tony, fuck off.
He's waiting for the check to clear before he does that.
There are no checks.
All right, well, they're not paying me. They got good stuff at a decent price. There you go, done.
All right, Jimmy just confirmed he got my picture, so there will be another melon explosion video in probably a week.
Uh-oh. Melon explosion.
What, are you shipping him more ammo?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You didn't know about that. Yeah, I did a live stream Saturday on the Reloading channel, and I made Jimmy 20 more rounds. So now I've got 80 out there in the ether somewhere. But this time I made the label, so I know the zip code's correct. So we're good to go. He'll definitely get these. He got my last 5 Hornady 300 grain XTPs.
You loading any of that 700 grain shit for the 500?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
That's a fucking shotgun slug.
Yeah, it is. My pet load is actually their 535 grain Ranger Rick bullet. The 700 is just a oversized version of that. But yeah, I load those.
It's a 7 T-Rex?
Yeah, T-Rex thumper.
Okay.
You can get them at mattsbullets.com.
That's probably overkill for a T-Rex.
I think it's perfect for one of Daenerys' dragons, though.
No, I came up with the caliber for the bolts of that dragon crossbow.
You came up with a name with them, or
yeah. It's 50 DK, 50 Dragon Killer.
Oh, I think it's probably more like
252.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's up there.
Yeah, it's huge, but I said 50 DK Dragon Killer, and Robbie was out there. It was either Robbie or DF2 Dot was out there in the chat saying, "Nice one, Night Strike."
That dude's name is Braun, right? The guy
guy
firing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember who was firing it.
I think his name is Braun, but honestly, you should call it like the quick fire 6-pounder DK. Because he was reloading that thing quick.
Yeah.
Should be DF.
Dragon Slayer.
Not a protect.
Yeah, he was quick on that thing. Because the ballista had like double handles to reload it quicker. And they did a really good job. They staggered the handles so they weren't all oriented in the same direction, which means like if you turn the left one, the right one's next like handhold is at an angle different than the one on the left. So you can always like you can step ladder them basically. They actually thought of that when they made those for the show. That's really cool. I don't know. All I know is that river is fucking deep. Like that shouldn't have been that deep. At the end of the episode, I'm not gonna spoil it, but at the end of the episode, that was one deep ass river. Flee, you fool, or flee, you idiot.
I can actually legally hunt here with the crossbow now.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to get you a sleeveless vest with 2 angel wings on the back.
I ain't getting no fucking sleeveless vest or no crossbow either.
Not gonna get you Daryl on?
No. Fuck, why carry a crossbow when I carry a gun?
Because it's quiet.
I don't care about quiet.
Crossbow hunt squirrels, man.
I don't know that I can do that. I don't know that you can bow hunt with squirrels. Anything that you can bow hunt here, I can crossbow hunt because I am legally disabled, and the shoulder is one of the reasons I'm disabled and it's listed on there. So, yep, I can get a crossbow.
deer hunt with a Piat gun.
I could also drive back into the area to hunt too.
How about it, Angry?
That shit neither.
Piat gun deer hunting.
They give us handicapped people a lot of freaking leeway, or us disabled people. I gotta say it right. I'm not actually handicapped. I can hunt out of my vehicle.
Ted's holdover does that sometimes. Just sticks the gun out the window.
Of
course, his their gun.
As long as I'm capable of freaking walking.
Actually, let me see if the story broke on the news yet. Let's see if it's real.
Nope, my 981 was going about an inch high and a half inch right at about 35 feet. And 60 was doing about an inch left at the same distance.
A pink dolphin was spotted leaping out of the water in Louisiana. Apparently, Megyn Kelly's here in Houston
give
too.
These spotters a blood test. If they're sniffing something they might not ought to be sniffing.
Why do they? How is it pink? Oh, it's an albino. That's why. The first sighting of this rare albino dolphin was in 2007. Pink dolphin is nicknamed Pinky by the locals. Only about half a dozen people ever caught it on camera.
Great, it's a rare dolphin. We need to go catch it and kill it.
Bridget A. Boudreaux sent a picture to the NBC affiliate in Lake Charles. Here's the new twist in the Pinky mystery. She said she saw 2 of them.
So she's sniffing with both nostrils.
No, it's a known animal in the area.
It's humor, for fuck's sake.
No. Pink dolphin.
It's like black squirrels and white squirrels.
I wonder if pink dolphin tastes like pink tuna.
I don't know. I don't like tuna, so hey.
Star kissed for her. Pink dolphin identifies as pink tuna fish. Anyone got some toast?
Chicken of the sea.
Somebody.
Tony, for a change, sounds lower than Sean's.
I'm going to see something on my way home from work tonight to confirm what I saw yesterday. I think someone dumped a car in my neighborhood. And what's really strange is it was like in a state of getting restored. Like it was a rolling chassis, but all the glass was removed. Not broken, it was removed. No windshield, no back window, no side windows. And I want to say it was a early to mid 70s BMW Bavaria sedan. Like I saw it and I instantly wanted it. I'm like, oh.
Well, somebody dumped it. Go get it.
I almost hit it. Like I turned a blind corner and it was like sitting there in the middle of the road. I'm like, what the hell? The only thing that bugs me is it had no glass and it rained like hell last night. So the whole interior's ruined now.
What the hell kind of car is it that you can't even get the interior a little bit wet?
Well, it rained enough for that my bayou rose like 15 feet overnight. So it was a lot of rain. There's more coming.
Yeah, but once it gets soaked, it can't get no wetter.
That's true. I was just worried about the dash because it's got real wood in the dash. So that's probably
That
ruined.
could be a problem.
I don't
If
know.
the finish is good and it's not standing in water, it's probably all right.
What I'm hoping is it's just the guy parked it on the street next to his house. Unfortunately, his towing skills are shit because it's more out in the middle of the street than it is on the side of the curb. Like I literally almost hit it. I came around the corner and I had to like evasive maneuver the fuck out of it.
There's a freaking barely clean-looking Dakota sitting alongside the road, just at the edge of the wood. Ink sticker on it saying, "Come get it towed away." I don't know what the hell the deal is there. Somebody's left it there long enough for them to put the sticker on it. So, and it's sitting halfway out on the freaking road. I'm surprised somebody run it out over.
Watching Family Feud.
Who, me?
Somebody.
I'm not anything.
Family member is. Surprised you could hear that.
I heard the bell.
Let me turn that off.
He wasn't bitching. He's just asking.
Yeah.
No, it's just that it's the intercom. We have an intercom from upstairs and downstairs, and it just unfortunately it came with the house, and it's so old that in order I have to literally turn it off because if I leave it on, you can hear everything that's going on downstairs.
Hot mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you come by with the right kind of equipment, you can hear it from outside too.
FBI surveillance ban number 9. Actually, one of you guys posted a link the other day, or actually it's been about 2 weeks now, to a FBI surveillance van for sale, like a dark brown one or something. That was pretty cool. And then there was a Rick. Host of Saturday's Rick's Life as I See It.
Morning, Rick.
Who is still sorting out his mic. He's probably asking, "Can you hear me now?" And the answer would be no.
On the YouTube side, I'm talking with Midnight Range TM and Mad Sexy Man of the Night. And the Mad Sexy is like, "Hey, Night Strike, do you ever get those fake IRS calls?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but I usually answer as like Special Agent Smith of the NSA or you know, as Interpol or, you know, when I get those fake federal government money calls, I answer as FBI Agent Bob Smith and ask them which department they're in."
The best thing to do is answer as another debt collector. Like, Avanti Financial Solutions. Can I help you?
Oh. All right, later, Mad Sexy. He's taking his truck to a smog shop to get worked on. I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but I agree with him. So if you want to know what he said, go to the YouTube side.
I'm sure it has something to do with like fuck California emissions and the bullshit that entails with it.
Probably.
Yeah.
And Midnight Range, if you can jump in, just go to the Gun Channel side and get the link.
Yeah, come hang out with us.
If
We
you
don't
want.
take fingerprints.
Gun Channels does not take fingerprints.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
No. Sean, I really wish you would drop that.
I was going to mention it when you were talking about safes earlier. I'm like, is that why you don't have one of those little mini safes? Because you don't even want to give back your fingerprints?
No, the issue is with those is if you don't wipe the scanner on the fingerprint scanner on that, you can just use like a thing of clay with plastic wrapped around it, and
you can fake the print.
Fake the print and get into that very easily.
Yeah. And
I don't want that on my. I don't want a safe with that level of insecurity. Because that is not secure. That's the opposite. Because
if you think it's some Mission Impossible shit, though.
Well, no. I've seen people who've been locked out of their safes do that.
Yeah.
You know, where they were in an accident and their fingerprint is gone because they got scar tissue and they can't get into it.
That's a good point. Like, you probably never see anybody who works for Dole, the pineapple plant. They probably never get one of those either.
No,
like,
but
that's not me being obtuse. I mean, if you know anybody who's ever worked at a pineapple processing place, they have almost no fingerprints.
Yeah. Well, I knew a guy who goes to the local pawn shop I go to for my FFL. Mm-hmm. He had one of those mini gun safes that had the fingerprint scanner on, and he got into an accident where he was working on an engine, and it literally blew up on him. Didn't take his hand or arm off, but it gave him third-degree burns on his hand, and
it ruins the fingerprints.
It ruined his fingerprints. So
we use a finger scanner here at the shop to clock in and out, and I have to use my left finger because my right index finger has a scar that goes right through it, and the reader can't pick it up.
So
might be able to see it on camera, actually.
He literally had to do that Mission Impossible shit to get back in to get all his guns out of it and switch safes. Yeah,
that little white line right there in the middle, right here, won't work. It screws with the scanner every time, so I had to use my other hand. That's my trigger finger too. So, I got it stuck in a ticket sorting machine that I was rebuilding. It had bronze gears and pulleys, and it sucked my finger up underneath it, and the belt held my finger against the pulley and just sliced it to the bone. It hurt.
Nice.
It hurt something fierce, man.
But that's why I don't like those kind of safes, because that's
a fair argument.
Because the technology hasn't progressed enough where it can compensate for that kind of thing.
The cheap ones do. But that just shows you how lax it is,
Right.
I miss my Microsoft fingerprint scanner.
Yeah, remember when they were trying to push that as like your password? IBM came up with that laptop with the fingerprint scanner right next to the trackpad.
Microsoft made one that was USB, and it was pretty fucking slick. Well, they had it made, but you didn't have to touch it. You just had to put your finger over it. Therefore, no fingerprint left on the glass. Bullshit.
Yeah.
No
it was quick. And you could, I think you could load 8 fingerprints in it. I let it open. So any of your fingers on either hand would open it, in my case, or you could have 8 different people. It was kind of freaking expensive back when I first got one. It was like $100. I didn't pay for it, but it's still kind of neat.
Okay, since the chat is active and there's enough of you here, I want to ask a question about a TV show I watched. Are any of you watching Winona Earp yet? Or
no.
Have?
I looked at the
it's hokey. I told you it's going to be hokey.
Description.
There's something I wanted to ask somebody who watches it, because I don't know if they actually explained it on the show or not. And maybe if they did and I just missed it. Damn, not even Angry saw it. I'll tell you what, I will recommend it as something to watch if you can get through the hokey parts of it. Because like the story is actually kind of cool, slightly. Like I don't mind watching it. What the hell am I doing?
She's supposed to be like Wyatt Earp's great granddaughter or some shit.
Something like that. Yeah, and she's one of 3 sisters.
Damn, I want to do 3 sisters. Never mind.
Well, there's a lot of that kind of candy in that show too.
Well, I might watch it then.
I'm slightly annoyed by how much they keep trying to drive this whole lesbian scene thing. Like they do it a lot. And it's just like, okay, we get it. She's gay, we get it, or she's bi or whatever. You know, I mean, it's cool because they're both really hot. So it's just, you know, they can tone that down a little bit. It's like we get what they're trying to push there.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
The story itself saves it though. It salvages it. And like Juan Carlo's character is odd, for sure.
Lesbian is a waste. Bi is perfect.
There you go.
Damn. Like there's something. Okay, if you watch it in the future, just try to pay attention to something I'm about to ask a question on, and then maybe you can tell me later. But there's a character in there. His name is Bobo Del Rey, and if you see him, he has telekinetic power. Like he can move things with his hand or brain or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know if they ever explained how he got that ability, but it's obviously really useful.
The writers that wrote the show gave it to him.
No shit, but they have to explain why, because they explained how he became who he is already in the 2nd season, and it was definitely a plot twist. Like seriously, a plot twist. I'm like, holy crap. I don't know. It is hokey, but it does have the buntline special. It's like the star weapon in the show. There is gunplay in that show too. Some.
When I looked at the information on it, it showed her holding some sort of modern fucking weapon. I'm like, fucking
The trailer / I don't know what you call it, but the thumbnail for that show, she's supposed to be holding a buntline special. She uses it in the show a lot. It's called Peacemaker, but it's not a Peacemaker. It's a buntline. And it glows. Like these runic symbols appear on it when she gets ready to shoot it.
This sounds like extremely realistic entertainment.
It's supernatural. That's where I got the idea for the theme. Like the first season dealt with one protagonist or one group of protagonists, right? Or antagonists. I forgot which one's which. But the 2nd season just blows it wide open. So now it's turned into like almost like an X-Files type thing. But it's not bad. Like if you know it's hokey before you start it, and you're just trying to be entertained by an interesting story, it's not too bad.
So basically, it's Scully with a Peacemaker. That could be interesting.
And I see Rick has jumped in.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, he was in here a while ago, but he ain't said nothing yet.
Yeah.
Or I ain't heard nothing.
Either have I. Rick, are you plugged in?
I think I hear in the background very, very faintly. Can you hear me? But I mean, it's like super quiet.
I don't hear nothing. So.
Yeah, that's Rick's voice in the background for sure.
Dude, you need to scream a hell of a lot louder.
Rick, you're coming in, but it's like super quiet. Almost
super
like you
quiet,
have your mic, like almost like you have your mic plugged in the wrong port.
All right, let me take it. Hang on.
It's getting better.
What the fuck did you do, Ponder? You're coming in really good.
I don't know.
Up there it went.
I don't know.
So, Sean.
Hmm? Yeah.
What's this I hear about a Houston cop claiming to be a 3%er while illegally detaining a man open carrying a rifle?
I don't know. How old's the story?
14 hours ago.
What the fuck is the 3%? I can't keep up with these stupid fucking tags we got to stick on everything.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at who our police chief is, Art Acevedo, I think his name is. He was the former police chief of Austin, liberal
There you
cesspool of
go.
the state. Things are going to happen around here.
And not for the better.
So far, he's been pretty good about things. Like, he knows that Houston is not considered a sanctuary city. He doesn't agree with it, but he said he will enforce it. So I'm like, okay. He's reluctantly enforcing it under protest. I really don't get why we even allow sanctuary cities in this country. I mean, it's a direct violation of the Constitution. It's a direct violation of immigration law. It's like, oh no, it's perfectly fine. Come break the law, you know.
I'll tell you what.
Break the trust of the nation since the day you got here.
Wow.
These people that throw out this whole we've been a country welcoming all immigrants throughout our history need to go back and look at how many freaking Jews were allowed in here after they were released from all them concentration camps and shit. And I'll let you know how many that is. None. Like, nope, we ain't taking them.
Not all of them, but some of them got in anyways.
They may have snuck in, but they weren't allowed to come in here. England and France
Really?
didn't allow it.
Yeah, so a lot of them snuck in, but
Okay, you can go over to the Middle East and we'll give you a piece of dirt over there.
yeah, they just didn't want to stay in Germany after all that. I don't blame them either.
They didn't want to go back to their homelands either.
Because their homeland sold them out too. It's like, it's either we sell out the Jews and stay in our country, or we all get shipped off to Auschwitz or what was the other one?
Germany wasn't really.
Buchenwald.
Yeah, Buchenwald.
Well, there was about 100 of them.
Yeah.
But Germany wasn't really too particular. I mean, they were taking everybody that wasn't German speaking.
Well, they weren't going after the Italians for in the early part of the war because of the black shirts.
They really didn't invade Italy either.
No, they didn't. You know, and also, you don't.
Is it working now?
Yeah. You didn't hear much about the Pope going against the Germans during World War II either.
So what's new?
In 1933 and 1945, Nazi Germany and its allies established more than 40,000 camps, other incarceration sites. The perpetrators used these sites for a range of purposes, including forced labor, detention of people thought to be enemies of the state, and mass murder. Yes.
Yes.
There was a lot of them.
There were a shit ton.
The one that doesn't seem to get the attention that it should is Dachau. And I don't quite understand why, because it was a nasty son of a bitch too.
Here's the bad part. At the beginning of the war,
some Americans that were serving in like the Foreign Legion or the British forces that were captured. Instead of sending them off into the normal prisoner of war camps, some of them were sent to these concentration camps instead, because the Germans didn't want to pay to keep them alive.
Well, I don't think the fact that Americans or British got sent there is that much bigger of a crime than Poles that got sent there, or Czechs, or
Okay. Come on, you motherfucker.
Whoa, Rick, language. I'm kidding, by the way. I hardly ever hear you curse.
This is Rick's fucking reloading at his best.
Oh. This is Rick's reloading as he does it on goodmorninggunchannels.com.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
I want to ask you to be sure that you're not confusing volume measure with weight measures when you're doing that.
Oh no. No, I read the thing, and I'm following this. I use this book that has everything in it. It's written by the lead company.
Yeah, I got the book.
So it's all and easy for idiots like me to understand.
I don't know why the hell Lee did all that work to get his shit in cubic centimeters instead of grain weights like every fucking buddy else.
And G-Webs, no one said he was okay with it or were suggesting anything of the sort. Don't try and throw words in people's mouths.
What's going on?
It was an awful thing that happened during World War II, and I'm not saying that or suggesting that the Pope was okay with anything. It's just he didn't openly state anything to the contrary.
No, you son of a bitch.
Well, I mean, he was right bang dead center in the middle of enemy territory.
Yeah.
He had to play the part of a diplomat pretty hard.
I think he had to. I think he was more playing the neutrality of Switzerland.
Switzerland wasn't as neutral
as people would like to believe, considering how all those Nazis were able to store all that gold and stuff in those Swiss banks without the Swiss even knowing. Right?
The Swiss knew, and they made a fucking fortune laundering that money.
Yeah.
But yet they wouldn't let the Allies cross their fucking land on railroads.
No. They'll deposit the Nazis' ill-gotten goods, but they won't let the Allies use the rails. Yep, that whole war was fucked up to begin with. But quite honestly, every war's like that. Not per se in the whole factor that of what has gone on, but just because of the factor that every war is fucked up regardless.
Much as I hate to see the added massive loss of life, Patton was fucking right, though. We should have kept on going into Russia.
How did you get on to the Second World War?
Though I tend to think that MacArthur was right, and then we should have just nuked China and North Korea.
I'm not familiar with MacArthur's thoughts on that one.
Yeah, that was
Second World War. Hell, I don't know.
that was back towards the end of the Second World War, and that was right before the beginning of the Korean War. I think is when he said we should just nuke China and the North Korea and be done with it, instead of getting involved in a long conflict. And they removed him from being in charge of the army after that because of that statement. They forcefully retired him.
They didn't smile too much on Patton at any time, really, but
No.
still, he was right. We should have kept on going and conquered Russia at that point, too.
Though I think it was really convenient that Patton died in a car crash right as the war ended.
Yeah, that's always been suspicious.
I watched a video or special show or something or other on that, and it is really fucking odd because that crash shouldn't have killed anybody.
No.
I mean, if what they described is accurate, it shouldn't have.
It's like somebody had ordered to kill him or something.
Well, personally, I think he was more popular than anybody else. And you can't have somebody more popular than the President of the United States.
I don't think Truman was that bad.
But what I'm saying is, I think Patton could have been the next president. You know, he could have been he could have been the first. He could have been the first Trump. You know what I'm saying? Telling it as it is.
Yeah. I think it was more of an Eisenhower because Patton was more recognized and more renowned than Eisenhower was.
Yeah, he was more famous than some people wanted him to be.
And I tend to believe the theory that Eisenhower had him killed because Eisenhower was going to run for president later on, and Patton would have been an obstacle in his political aspirations.
No, absolutely.
Patton had no political ambition.
Yeah, and that's the funny part. Patton just wanted to be a soldier.
MacArthur had political ambition.
Yeah, that
did a great job in that movie. Playing him.
Oh,
Truman
good. We triggered G-Webs again. Great.
What happened?
What happened?
He ain't using caps yet.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he's got W's back.
Oh.
I don't know if he does or not. Yeah, there's one. Oh, golly.
Fuck it.
Congrats, G-Webs, on the return of the W.
Yeah. Anyway.
Now you can type whole words.
Yeah. He can type complete sentences now, too.
I don't know.
Well, he's got a new keyboard?
All World War II.
G-Web's got a new keyboard?
It's an external one.
Uh-oh. White worms wiggle wildly.
The dumbasses didn't catch the friggin' joke there. Whole and words both started with W.
And the Q once in a while, too. All right. Yeah, someone sent him one. I was going to send you one, G-Web. Could have gotten you one easy.
Well, yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's easy after the fact to say that shit.
He told me not to.
Don't ask.
Actually, the perfect keyboard for G, since he's a man on the go, essentially, he needs one of those. It's called the Razer Turret. It's a folding keyboard with a Bluetooth mouse attached, or with it.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
I sell those.
G-Web said I didn't want one, but I'm using it out of respect.
He doesn't like carrying extra pieces.
Which
Being on the go.
Back to the whole, you should have just sent the damn thing anyway.
I probably should have. Next time I'll just do that. Whether G-Web likes it or not, they get it.
Just send it.
By the time he needs another keyboard now, he'll probably just buy a new laptop.
That's all I'm doing for right now. Fuck it.
I meant you get through.
100. I've been doing it. I've been working on it for an hour or so, hour and a half.
What are you making?
45 ACPs.
Were you annoyed when they started changing the primer sizes?
Yes. Well, I'm new at this, but yes. I mean, because I pick them up. Occasionally, I pick them up, and I'm trying to flip the damn thing, and I'm slamming this goddamn machine. I'm swearing at it, kicking it, and I look at it and realize it's a small primer, and I got large.
Yeah, you gotta set them aside.
Yeah, bastard.
Okay, G-Webs, if you don't want us to send you, what brand of dog food do you not want us to send you?
Old Roy, because it comes in like 200 cubic tons bags. Fucking massive bags. Hated that shit.
And then he can use that for sandbags.
Right.
Around the truck.
Right.
Ooh, hey, you just gave me a great idea. We should coat the sides of G's van with Zimmerit. And then put the A-team stripe up the side. I'm telling you, man.
Oh, okay, what brand do you normally feed your pup?
Well, I'll tell you what, I always had bunches of freaking hound dogs, and they didn't give a shit. If it said food on the bag, they'd eat it. Dog food.
He gets it from the local Safeway. Okay.
My dog eats healthy. I give him a bowl of shredded wheat.
Priority NutriBalance, lamb and rice. Okay, so of the things you don't want us to send you, we'll make sure not to send you that brand. And I'm saying that with air quotes, just in case.
What's he giving?
Megan strips.
My coon dogs also love to eat corn on the cob too.
Yeah.
When does he feed his dog that old natural crap?
No, yeah.
No filler stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny, our dogs eat more lamb than most people do. Because people think it's expensive.
My coon dogs that just gnaw the fuck out of a corn cob.
Is that safe?
But I never killed none of mine.
Well, living out there in Arizona in the desert, he should do what what's his name used to do? Oh, John Wayne in the old Honda movie.
Corn Dodgers.
And he run off and go catch a rabbit.
Oh, but you're saying he's going to feed his dog Corn Dodgers.
God damn it, you're a fucking dog. You should be able to catch this shit better than I can.
Send the dog out in the desert to catch his own rabbit,
Yeah, but that was a real dog. The designer dogs of today,
they can't
not
handle
many
that.
of them have.
Europe says his first dog would do that. My first dog would have done that too. Siberian Huskies.
I bet dog bodies dogs do too, because he feeds them raw. So
my coon dogs would do that. They weren't real particular, but they wouldn't hunt rabbit. I mean, that's just not their thing. But they would certainly go after possum or coon or cat. I love the house cat, and they would fucking eat the house cat. I'm like, great, this is perfect because I hate fucking cats.
chicken in a litter
All you
box.
want.
Hey, My two Maine Coons hunt small dogs.
I wish I had the space to have coon dogs and the ambition to run them anymore.
These ain't coon dogs. These are cats. They're Maine Coons.
They're the largest. They're the largest variety of cat in the United States.
Yeah.
Domestic.
Yeah.
That's how my dogs are still chasing if they'd run.
Yeah. They look like bobcats to a certain degree with the pointed ears.
I had
They have a long bushy
they'd run
snout.
fucking bear. I had several plot hounds and they'd run bear. They weren't afraid of nothing. I wouldn't, so like if you want to go run bears, dog, help yourself, but I ain't going with you. Here's my gun. Go ahead and take it if you want.
Now I got to take my noontime medication. God, I hate getting fucking old.
Sucks, don't it?
It does.
What are you loading them at? Them 45s at weight wise?
The what?
I know what you're using for powder, but what grain weight are you using?
Oh, it's I'm following the book. I got it. Mine's coming out. I'm putting weight wise in there. I measure it off at 0.53.
That should be a nice shooting load.
It said. The book says don't go over 5.7.
Right, and when I watched your video, you were mentioning the number 5.7, and I don't remember what for, but that's why I was bringing that up a while ago. If you're pushing that like that, you're.
No, I try to keep it between. I try to keep it between 5 even and 5.3.
That should be a good to shoot load.
Yeah, I just added the micrometer thing to it, for I don't have to keep taking it apart. I can just turn the dial. If I load anything else, I'm getting ahead of the game here.
Freaking! I checked the first overall length of the first one that I set to where I want it, and I don't ever check again.
Well, I've only just started this, so I checked. Checked a few last night, and this morning I checked the first couple to make sure I wasn't seeing things last night, and it's running great.
Well, once you get it set, it can't change. It only goes so far up in there, and then it's done. But all my bullets are canneled anyway, so they don't have. You don't have the option of really changing it if you want to crimp them. So you go to the overall length set by the bullet, not the overall case length in the book. Usually mine are shorter.
Yeah, I measured mine on all the right length. Plus, I got one of them, things that you drop the bullet in and it fits right in there. And
chamber gauge?
It shouldn't be sticking out on either end.
I used to, with my 9mm, I check loads. I'll run half a dozen or a dozen or whatever into the chamber and make sure they're going, but revolver, I haven't worried about it.
I got to start doing. I might start loading 9mm. So I don't carry it, but I do shoot that 9mm at the range I got.
A trick that I used for setting up my dies was I would use a loaded round and then set my dies up with a loaded round if I was using the same bullet. So you don't have to go through that freaking measuring and trying it bullshit 100 times. You just set the die up to match the loaded round. There you go.
If you're doing it 100 times, you really suck at reloading.
I gotta put an order in for some primers and some Full Metal Jacket today.
There's some people that are meticulous about their overall cartridge length and shit like that.
Oh yeah. Match shooters.
I'm not shooting match. I don't give a shit.
Me neither. Combat accurate is good enough for me.
No shit. If it goes in the gun and works, fine. That's good. That doesn't count with rifles. Rifles, if I'm using a bullet with cannler, I'll go to that. But if not, then it depends on a couple of things. I mean, 223 you may not see them that deep because the powder.
Change the subject slightly. Does anybody any good deals on primers and bullets and stuff?
I buy them locally, man.
Yeah, I do primers local.
Yeah.
By the time you're done with shipping and hazmat, it's cheaper just to buy local in most cases.
Yeah, problem is I got nowhere local.
You don't have like a Cabela's or anything like that in your area?
He's in New England.
Well, he's in Rhode Island, but I mean, I figured they'd have some sports authority type thing over there, right?
Well, in Rhode Island.
Hang on. I'll find you one.
Yeah, it's absolutely not worth it here to ship primers in because I can buy them here for $30 a thousand.
I can get all my stuff from a store that will not be named.
There's how far are you from a place called Wound Socket?
Oh, good hour and a half.
How about
it's almost out of the state. I'm at one corner of Rhode Island, and that's up at the other end of the corner.
How about Pawtucket?
That's not far from Woonsocket. I'm gonna have to make the drive up there. You looking at a place called
How about West Warwick?
West Warwick is closer. West Warwick's only maybe an hour away.
There's a place called Heritage Gun and Coin. They sell reloading supplies.
There is?
Mm-hmm. Open till 5 today.
What's the name?
Heritage Gun and Coin. You want their number?
I got it right here.
Okay. Yeah, West Warwick, Rhode Island. They got powders too.
What?
See? Told you. There's something out there for everybody.
Okay. Your website?
I just Googled it.
How did I miss that one?
I don't know.
Prices?
It's hard to see when you're blinded by rage. There's shit out here.
Well, apparently they're supporters of NRA ILA.
Yeah.
On their website.
Yeah, I see that.
Though that could just be them, saying, hey, we support the NRA ILA, but not really doing anything else other than that.
As long as their powder's dry and their primers are plentiful, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay, powder, primers.
You can see
they are a business. Their goal is to make money. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. I think I know where I'm going tomorrow.
There you go.
I ain't going this afternoon.
We might have just made Rick a new best friend. How about that?
I think you have. I think I found me a new shop.
Solved.
I didn't even know that one was there.
And I've never even been there.
You've got mail. Oh, what's good though? Change the subject. I booked a flight this morning. My son's getting married next month down in Florida. And I got a flight, a round trip from Rhode Island here to Orlando, and a rent of a full-size car for a week, $369.
That's not bad.
For the whole trip. And I'm staying at my son's house, so I don't need a hotel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
I could have gone. I mean, I could have. He's only got one car, so I said I'll go ahead and rent one.
That does seem fairly reasonable.
But where I'm going with this is, they said and I was talking to him. I said I need a seat near the front where it's extra. We got the extra leg room. I said because of my disability, right? And they go, "Oh yeah, no problem." They said we'll do that for you. They said you need wheelchair service from the check-in desk all the way to the plane. They said it's free. I said I'll take it. Yeah, the only problem is I got to stop off at the other desk. I'm going to take my gun with me.
Yeah, we got on the YouTube side, we got Jumpy Killer QX saying 20 gauge versus 223 Remington. I'm going to go with 5.56 by 45. So I guess that means 223.
Did he literally just say apple to orange?
Did he
I mean,
say
you
for what?
20 gauge or 223?
Yeah. You didn't specify for what. You know, just 20 gauge versus 223. Well, it's like apples and oranges. I mean, do you want a shotgun or do you want a rifle? That's more details, dude.
You
I'm
to
starting
hunt
to think
flying
maybe he's talking
critters with
about
it,
self-defense.
or
It's like, I mean, if you're gonna use 20 gauge slugs, or are we comparing 20 gauge slugs to 223 or what? The Pants is out there on the YouTube side as well, saying neither. 5.45 by 39. And I'm like, well, if you can find it.
You still didn't tell me what the application was. Is it home defense or is it hunting or what?
No, he's saying buck and slugs.
Oh,
Honestly, he's not
They
even
make
telling
20
us the application. So
they make 20 or double up buck 20 gauge. So I mean, if it was self defense, I think I would lean towards that because it's like firing 9 pellets. It's like firing 9 32 ACPs all at the same time at somebody.
I mean, if you're gonna get an AR, don't get it in 223 Remington. Get it in 223 Wild or 5.56. That way you can shoot both 223 and 5.56.
if you're going to buy a shotgun, why the hell would you choose 20 over 12?
Yeah, that's true too. I mean,
Maybe that's what's available.
I like my Stevens 67E. I may bitch and complain about the recoil on it, but hey, you know, it still doesn't prevent me from going out and shooting it. Tony's got one too.
I've got one in 12 and 20.
Yeah, I've just got one in 12.
And I'm seriously considering buying another one in 12 because I found a little bit older one that's been redone and looks brand new.
Yeah, mine still has the Sears tag on it. I never took it off.
Now you shouldn't.
Granted, it's wasting away. Got too much oil on it, but still. And I mean that Sears the little Sears sticker tags they used to put on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of those. Eventually, it's gonna peel off, and I'm just gonna go over it with some oil or something.
Then you have a spot on it where the bluing's really bright or the finish is really bright and the rest of it's sun faded.
Okay. Jumpy Killer QX is now saying 7.62 by 54R versus 7.62 by 51. Again, you're not telling us for what application and what type of rifles.
Maybe he's just I think I get it. I think it's opinion. What do we think is a better round? Not for application, just a better round in general.
I mean, are you asking which is the better round, or which one we would choose? Okay, he's giving us a little bit more. Which one we use for CQB, 7.62 by 51 or 54R?
51.
51 because with 54R, unless you're using a Russian one of those Russian rifles.
An outdated one?
Even an outdated. Well, no, the Russians and the Romanians have auto loading rifles. They're not full auto, but they are semi-auto in 54R. But they're not great. They're used for sniping. They're not used for CQB. So if you're going to use a CQB rifle, you're going to have to go 7.62 by 51 because there's not a lot of CQB 54R rifles out there.
Well, I didn't mean outdated by as a derogatory thing. I just thought that standard infantry in Russia uses 74s or 5.45 guns now, right?
Yeah, they normally use the 74 variants.
Yeah, so that's what I meant by outdated. But
Yeah.
the
But that's
Scar
not to
Heavy
say
isn't
that
308.
their light machine guns aren't still chambered in like 54R.
Well, the Scar Heavy CQB is in 308, so I mean, it's like there's a good example of one.
And that's a good example of one too. But you know, with the whole Russian rifle thing, they still do have rifles that are in 54R. Like, say, you know, the newer variants of the PKM. They call it something else now instead of the PKM. But those are the PKMs use 54R. You know, but it's not a close quarters combat or a close quarter
that's
battle
a light
rifle.
machine gun.
And with the 51R, you can probably buy that in any fucking Walmart in the country.
The 54R you can, yeah.
51.
51 you can buy
both.
too. You can get both. Yeah, I've looked. You can get both at Walmart. It's just the issue is if you want some brass cased ammo, you go buy 51. If you want just straight out steel cased, you go 54R. Because most Walmarts carry the Tula in 54R.
Ooh, click that link thank you's got. I want to know what that is.
That's exactly what the Iraq veteran 88 did with one of his. What is it called? Stumpy?
Are you talking about that Mosin that he chopped down?
Yeah, chopped down into like a pistol. Yeah, I mean that that may be like, you know, a Russian, a poor Russian's CQB rifle, but you still ignore the part where you have to cycle the bolt action function, which that's not feasible for a CQB rifle.
How about an SVT-40 chop down?
And Angry's saying it's a Brez rifle popular during World War I. Yeah, because they didn't have auto loader at that point. They didn't have semi-auto. So,
hell, they barely had Russia.
Well, at the end of World War I, they didn't have Russia.
Yeah.
Russia ceased to be a thing and became the Soviet Union.
I would still say that if you're looking for something for close quarters, you're better out the fucking shotgun. Go buy that goddamn Mossberg shotgun.
Yes, there's a good endorsement.
Yeah.
Hashtag be out there. Cliffy's been unusually dark the last couple of days. What's going on with him?
Okay, Jumpy Killer is asking, okay, which one is the better cartridge? 12.7 times or by 104 millimeter or 12.7 times 99 millimeter 50 BMG? Which is the 104?
Isn't that the Russian round? I thought that was 12.9.
I've never heard of the 104. Are you sure you don't mean 108? I think you mean the 108, not the 104, because I do know that the 108 is literally the Russian variant of like the 50 BMG.
Yeah, it's the Dishka round.
Yeah. Jumpy, I think you mean this one. Here, check this out. Tell me if I'm right or not. That's the one you're talking about. It's not 104, it's 108. Because that's the 108 is the one the Russians are using as a you know, the same as the 50 BMG. So it's an anti-material rifle cartridge, technically. / heavy machine gun cartridge, like the 50 BMG. So, I'll be honest. I'd preferably like to go with just the 50 BMG, just because the factor that you don't normally see 12.7 by 108 out there. Granted, I'm not saying it's one cartridge is better than the other. My preference would be the 50 BMG just because it's easier to get.
They're literally the same round. Like
They
the
literally
50 BMG, the 50 BMG has less than 2% more energy. That's all. That's like the only real difference.
Yeah, and at that percentage, that's not going to be that big a difference in damage.
No,
So
you're still sending a Mack truck downrange. It's a
Yeah.
700 grain bullet.
he's like, he's asking, why the hell did they copy the BMG? Well, Jumpy.
Why did they copy the B-29? Same reason.
There's this thing called the Cold War. Why did they copy the nuclear bomb? Why did they copy the B-29? Why did they copy anything America had during the Cold War?
Because at the time they didn't have anybody to develop their own.
Why didn't they copy it? Oh, I don't know, because they didn't have it.
Because we kidnapped the right scientists when they didn't from Germany.
Yeah, pretty much.
And had to make all our best shit.
We got, what was it, Werner?
Yeah. Von Braun?
Yeah. Like, he is the father of our space program, literally. His B-2 rocket development led to our space program, essentially.
Yeah, we also got all the German scientists that were working on the atomic bombs, and they steamrolled our nuclear program. It's kind of sad that we weren't able to drop the bomb on the Germans.
That would have been really hard to clean up.
It would have, but you know what? It would have been very satisfying.
Like, the Russians were already at the Reichstag's doorstep by the time we could have done it, so we couldn't do it because our ally was in the AO. So, besides, Patton wouldn't have wanted it anyway. He would have been like, "I'm going to win this war with men."
Yeah, yes, Angry. Vepr makes a barrel, but the issue is Vepr is more of an import rifle made for importation, not for battle.
Huh?
He's saying Vepr makes a 7.62 by 54R rifle in 16-inch.
So
And
it's
yeah,
like their version of a AR-10.
yeah, more or less. That's what I think it is. But it's not necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily try and use one in battle because it's not built for that kind of thing. It's when they build it and import it over here, it's for civilian use.
Yeah, it's for us.
All right, guys, it's grandpa time.
And good Lord, Angry, that short barrel on that Barrett, that makes me afraid to even fire that.
How short?
So we lost Tony.
Grandpa time.
Yeah.
Deep in the lunch channel's hours.
In the lunch channel's hours.
I'm still here.
Jumpy, if you have any more questions or whatnot, just throw them in there, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a real-time lie to me session from the early launch. We're going to have a pretty big ask gun questions section tomorrow. It may run a full hour.
Yeah.
According to Jimmy, he's like, we got a bunch of new questions in, which is great.
As long as they're gun questions, I don't mind because it gives us stuff to talk about. Quite honestly, it helps. So the more the merrier, I say.
Yeah, I'd like it to get to the point where we have so many questions that we actually have to carry them over to the next day. That'd be great.
And when I'm doing it on my channel, I'll try and answer all the questions we have. Quick, Sean, give me a topic for tonight for hit or miss.
Oh, great. I had one earlier when I was talking to Squib. I'll think of something.
I don't think they needed to copy the 45 ACP because we gave them enough of it during the Lend-Lease anyways. They could make their own at that point.
Yeah, I think die sets and things are easy enough to manufacture to make copies.
Yeah. Jumping, if you didn't know, at the early parts of World War II, before we got involved, we did Lend-Lease with the Allies, and that was the entire Allies. That was the Russians, the British, and whoever else was with them at that point in time. Because was France? Were we doing Lend-Lease to France as well, or did they get steamrolled before we could?
They got steamrolled before we could.
Yeah. So
we airdropped like Liberty pistols at the end, though.
Yeah. So we pretty much did Lend-Lease to Russia, and we probably gave them a shit ton of 45.
We gave them Thompsons. We gave them, I want to say we gave them Garands.
I believe we gave them Jeeps too.
We gave them Jeeps. We gave them the P-36 Era Cobra.
Yeah.
Or the Bell P-36 Era Cobra. We gave them SPD Dauntlesses. We gave them Sherman tanks. We gave them, we didn't give them the Lee. The British gave them Valentine tanks and Churchill Mark IIIs.
We gave the British Lees.
Yeah, we gave British Lees, and then they turned it into the Grant.
Because they weren't fond. Apparently they weren't.
No, we
fond
gave them
of
Grants.
Lees.
We gave them Grants, and we had Lees. That was the difference. But the British gave them Valentines, light tanks. They gave them Churchill Mark III heavy tanks. They gave them tons of quick-fire six-pounder guns and 2-pounders. They also gave them the infantry support tank, the Matilda, with the quick-fire Little John adapter 2-pounder. Let's see, what else did they get? I don't think they got any Spitfires. They might have gotten a couple of Mosquitoes, though, for anti-shipping. I think they were given Mosquitoes. So,
Sean, what Jumping asking, is 45 ACP good in ball and hollow points? The round itself is good all around, in my opinion. I will concede that hollow points are more effective than ball. Full Metal Jacket, but it just depends on what you want to use.
The only caliber that I could think of where you probably want to just keep ball ammunition is 9x18 Makarov, and 9x17 or 380, and 32 ACP, and 25. But the hollow points for 45 are perfectly capable of doing the job.
What about like 38 ACP or like 38 Super?
If you can find it. 38 Super you can get hollow points for because that's a high velocity round. Those things are screaming out of the barrel.
You do know that 38 Super is just a plus
rimless
P.
38 ACP, yeah.
Yeah,
Or,
no,
38 special, isn't it?
It's not a rimless. It's just a 30. It's just a plus P
variant of like a 38 ACP.
So, I mean, back up a minute. If you're reloading 45 ACP, you're using hollow points?
Yeah, you can.
I mean, for normal plinking?
Oh, no. For plinking rounds, I just use powder-coated round nose bullets.
Yeah, that's what I'm using. For a minute, I thought I was using the wrong thing.
No. I think that guy was just talking about the capabilities of the rounds. 45 and hollow point is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For those that don't know, 38 Super is just a higher pressure loading of the 38 ACP cartridge. It's not a different cart. It doesn't use anything different technically other than more powder. Maybe the grain of the bullet might be a more or less depending on
probably the same.
But in order to get 38 Super, you have to use 38 ACP. At least the cartridge, because it's exactly the same differentiation you get with 45 ACP or 45 Auto and 45 Super. Okay, same thing with 38 ACP and 38 Super. So don't ever get confused with 38 Special and 38 Super because they are two different calibers whatsoever. I just want to make that clarification there, Sean, because some people can get confused about calibers, and when that happens, some people get hurt, and I don't want to see anyone get hurt.
I don't even think they make guns in 38 ACP anymore. I mean, like, they're all 38 Supers if they're making them.
It's 38 Super, but if you can get 38 ACP, you could run it through 38 Super, but you have to change the recoil spring. You have to use I think if you're going to use 38 ACP in a 38 Super gun, you can do it, but you have to use a lighter recoil spring, because the recoil spring in a 38 Super is designed to take those higher pressure loads. So you need something a bit lighter that is easier on the recoil.
Yeah, but doesn't Rock Island already do that? They give you the lighter recoil spring.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, I know I'm generalizing, and I apologize for this because I've not heard anything bad about it, but really, if you wanted to change your 45 ACP 1911 to 45 Super, it's not that hard. All you really do is replace the recoil spring. It's like an $8 part. You replace the recoil spring. That's it. What's wrong, Sean?
Oh, apparently there was a ship in World of Warships that they sold for a very limited time.
And you missed it.
It could fire 20 torpedoes at a time on each side of the ship, which means you can literally put 40 torpedoes down at one time.
Good Lord.
They took it out. They instantly took it out. They were like, nope, we can't do this.
Yeah. But I just figured I'd mention that on the 45 ACP and Super, because I have looked at just getting a 45 Super spring and throwing that in my 1911 and just shooting 45 Super through it. Because you can use the same barrel, the same magazine, no problem. So. And the thing about the 38 ACP and the 38 Super is that was designed before the 45. The 38 ACP is what the model 1900 and 1902 Colts were designed for. And then the U.S. Army said, those are nice, but we need something a little more powerful. So they tried the 38 Super. And it still wasn't strong enough for the military. So that's how we got the 45 ACP. And then the government asked, well, could you make it better? And we got the 45 Super.
And then people said, God damn it, get it right, you fuckers. So then Johnny Rowland came out with the 460 Roland. And the world was happy.
Well, it wasn't per se the government that did the 45 Super, it was the 45 Super was to try and make the 1911 last a bit longer in the 80s.
Oh, you see, now that would have been cool. Instead of the P320, they could have been like, we're going to give everyone 1911s again. We're just going to convert them all to 460 roll-in. Job done. Cheaper than your fucking SIG. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome. There would be much rejoicing.
There would be, yes.
Everyone's carrying around fucking 8-round 44 Magnum capable 45s. Hell yeah.
And apparently Yankee hates the 38 Super. And
because he's not a cartel leader.
Yeah, Yankee's not a cartel leader. He's not from Mexico, where they're only allowed to have, 38 Super?
They're just not allowed to have military cartridges. Like their military's cartridges.
Yeah, Super was made in the 20s and 30s. Anyways. Homer the Brave says 45 Super, go with 460 Roland.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
It's true.
It's true.
So
I don't
think Sinead O'Connor lost her shit.
I don't care.
She was like in this hotel or something in New Jersey, and she posted like this bizarrely tearful suicide lash out thing, and because like she hasn't seen her family in 2 years or something. She's lost her shit. She says she's fighting 3 mental disorders or something. That's crazy. They saved her.
It's too bad.
Mayweather wants to make last-minute rule change to the McGregor fight. Okay, let me see what that is.
I don't care.
Let's see. Oh, okay. That's not a big deal. No, he wants to wear 8-ounce gloves instead of 10-ounce. That's all it is. That request happens a lot.
So. All right, so I'm going to get a sandwich and some more coffee, and I'll be back.
Sandwich and Kofifi channels.
Where the Kofifi is real.
Chinese restaurant offers bra-size discounts. Oh, that's funny. If you buy your lunch at this place and you have an A cup, you're going to pay $9.50. You have a C cup, you pay $7.50. If you have an F cup, $4.50. And if you're one of the lucky ones with a G cup, $3.50. Fantastic. And of course, they ripped off a sizing chart from an anime I used to watch like 10 years ago. Not that the Chinese don't rip things off. No, not them. No way. What? A Chinese couple bought a street with 38 mansions on it for $91,000. And they may start charging the residents rent. That's hilarious. The homeowners association on that street had not paid its taxes in 30 years because the bills always went to the wrong address. So to settle the debt, they put the street up for sale, and these two bought it. 38 mansions on a street, and they paid only $91K for it. And now they technically own all the houses. Leave it to the Chinese to be slick. Leave it for dipshit California to fuck it up and give this opportunity to somebody. Oh, no, that is funny. So the whole drop test thing with the SIG P320s has led to like meme wars, right? Check this out. You're gonna love this. Spin the camera. There you go. Suddenly, I don't really want one anymore. Of course, the only one I really want, only one I really wanted was a 229 Elite anyway. That will scratch my SIG itch, and then I'll be done. British Special Forces SAS soldiers are trying out a new, quote, Star Wars-style bulletproof helmet in the war against terror. The SAS is the UK's answer to the Navy SEALs, the high-tech gear dubbed the Boba Fett. I gotta read the rest of this. The Boba Fett helmet, after the hit movie's infamous bounty hunter, uses heat-seeking technology to hunt down enemies, picks up signals from other people through friend or foe vision, and is air-conditioned to protect against heat and gas. Troops benefit from a GPS system that projects maps on the visor. This is so cool! It is said to protect soldiers' heads from a shot from a .44 Magnum round. So, where do I buy one?
Yeah, I tell you, the SAS are hot shit.
Here's the link. Where do I buy that? Sorry, it's going to probably do that whole Facebook link crap on the end of it. You probably only need to... let me change it. I'm pretty sure I just need this. Yeah. Hang on. Let me kill that. God damn it. It looks badass. I want one. Gimme have it. Leave it to the British to come up with something fucking awesome like that.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I want it. They had me at air conditioned. Jay Leno paid $506,000 for his new Ford GT, including $10,000 for the orange stripes on it. Holy crap. Nice. I'm going to share this with you guys. I was going to read it out, but it'll probably annoy people, so I'm just going to share it with you. There you go. Number 6 is a jab at night strike. Number 7 is actually really cool. That solves that debate. Zing. The 707 horsepower 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk starts at $86,000. $86,000 for a Jeep that is going to be useless off-road because it's got track tires on it. Cow GTI? Yes. That is retarded.
So Night Strike said, "I luck his Whataburger ain't the same."
Yeah, he doesn't get what we have here. I thought the first out-of-state one being opened in Florida, that was kind of an interesting fun fact. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Social justice warrior gets a taste of her own medicine. This woman proclaims that she needs feminism, quote, because over 90% of CEOs are men. So a dude responds, how do you know that they're men? Are you referring to them as men based on your own preconceived notion of what a man is? And she answers, they are men because they look and act like men. What kind of question is that? So he answers her again. He goes, isn't it a bit transphobic of you to assume that just because someone looks like a man, that he's a man? Her response, go fuck yourself. See, now he's having to drive to Pensacola to get a water burger. That's what's taking him so long. White House announces new communications director. Guess whose photo they used? Gunnery Sergeant Hartman. That would be awesome. Yeah, Harley Ermey as White House communications director would be incredible. Oh, that's kind of nice. Facebook to ban all flat Earth grouped communities. Nice.
I am back with lunch channels.
About time.
Yeah. I didn't get any more coffee. We were out of Kofifi. I didn't feel like making another pot, so I just got some Mountain Dew.
A dick-shaped church had a water main break at the tip.
And here's what we have to say it for knives. Just the tip.
I'm gonna see if this is actually legit or not. It does look really funny though. Come on, load the damn picture. Oh, fuck it. My ad blocker is just killing the shit out of that site. Fuck it. Forget it. Trans blind is a thing. Woman used chemicals to blind herself because she identified as blind. What? Stupid ass.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I know. You want to identify as blind? Put a fucking welding mask on. Try it for a couple of hours and see how well that works. Pretty sure everyone around you will be glad they can't see your face. Shots fired.
I have a welder and a welding mask. So, by the way, if you hear any thunder or something, it's because it's going to rain outside.
Yeah, we're getting it too.
Mashed potatoes and leftover meatloaf.
What happened to this girl? Holy shit. Oh, we're 36 hours away from the next leaked episode of Game of Thrones.
After what?
You've got mail.
We're 36 hours away from the next leaked episode of Game of Thrones.
How so?
The guy who hacked this HBO and stole all the episodes for the final season, he's been leaking them on Wednesdays.
I'm surprised he hasn't been arrested yet.
Can't catch a guy they don't know who it is. Besides, it's probably got it spread out far and wide across the web anyway. It's not like they can stop it now.
Yeah. Ooh, somebody out there in the chat says Glock sucks, buy a CZ clone. In 10 millimeter. They're a little better.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay. Is
Is
that true? Are the CZ clones in 10 millimeter better than the Glocks?
The Rock Island 10 millimeters are decent.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that chick fight. Damn it.
That one Brazilian chick won.
Clarissa Shields.
Don't know. Don't care.
It was a boxing match. She beat the German Nikki Adler. Damn. Oh well. Hey, we're getting close to that fucking Mayweather fight too. Next month it'll be Canelo and Triple G. That'll be good.
Yeah. Tread. I am about 70 miles from the GASC border. I'm right off. I live right next to I-95, and if you go down further, you get down to Savannah. So,
Damn, everybody's retiring. What the fuck? Desert Storm Tim Bradley's retiring.
but we still got Mattis.
No. I'm talking boxers.
Oh,
Like
okay.
Tyson Fury retired, then fucking Vladimir Klitschko retired, then Who else was it? Juan Manuel Marquez retired. They're all getting kind of old, so I guess that's okay. And now Timothy Bradley. Jesus.
Well,
Everyone's getting out. They're all getting out as Mayweather's coming back. That's funny.
what is it, if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen?
I don't know. I think they just Bradley's he's at his peak. Like he's done. He can't do anything else. He can't beat any of these new up and comers either because they're awesome. It is what it is. Klitschko's retiring because his mandatory would destroy him. It's this British dude, Joshua. Joshua. That dude's awesome. Like he's got heavy hands, man. Fury's never coming back because he's just way too overweight. He's a coke habit now, I think, too. He's mental. I don't know. Maybe it was a good time for them all to go. Marquez should have retired like 4 years ago. He's like 44, 45. He's up there. Maybe it is time for new blood. Lomachenko's pretty cool. He's pretty good. I think the next big piece to fall is going to be Tony Bellew. Cruiserweight out from Scotland. I think he's Scottish. He's going to fight David Hay next. He's going to get his head tore off.
I'm not that big into boxing.
I don't know. I have like an unusual obsession with it. I can't do. I mean, I can watch MMA, but I don't enjoy it nearly as much.
I mean, you'll laugh at this, but I prefer hockey and bowling more.
I like hockey. I like going to hockey games because the beers are bigger. You're ready to fight by third period.
Well, I like watching professional bowling. So
the only problem I have with watching
bowling because you'd rather be playing than watching, and I get it.
Exactly. That is a non-voyeur sport for me. Like that's that and baseball. I can't watch baseball. I don't mind playing it, but I can't watch it. Same thing with bowling. I love going. I love bowling. It's just I don't like watching it because it almost always looks the same. There's like this little pre-stage thing that everyone does, and then they take a couple of steps, and if they all throw the ball relatively the same, so it has like counterspin, and it has this nice arc. It's like you can watch that and go, that's the way you're supposed to do it, and I can't do it. Like I throw them straight down, where they roll forward instead of sideways. Like my mom can do it. She's always like, it's all in the wrist. I'm like, I am not about to break my wrist trying to twist a fucking 10-pound ball. No, thanks. But I do like playing it.
Yeah, my grandfather was really, really big into bowling. He always was in a league. He also coached kids for bowling.
Yeah.
On the weekends in his off time. And my dad, even though he's older now, he is legitimately good enough that if he wanted to go pro at bowling, he could have.
Another sport that's like that? Golf. I can do golf. I don't mind. I don't say play. I can play golf, I guess. Okay, I'll say it. But I cannot watch it. It drives me insane. It's like, why the fuck do I want to watch the gardening channel? Like I tease my dad all the time about that. I'm like, today we're going to talk really quiet and talk about how great they cut the grass here. It's like, no, we're not.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
I love racing. I can't stand watching drag racing on TV.
I don't mind drag racing.
If I see it, I want to do it. See what I mean? It's like I can't watch it.
Hey, I like watching the Indy 500 and NASCAR, even though they're only going in one direction.
That's true. For a touring car, though. Give me just a sec. I'll try to grab one for you.
I'll do it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do it. Did you see my top 10 interesting facts about Whataburger earlier?
No.
Apparently you do have them in South Carolina. It's just not the original company. It's an imitation of it. The company was founded by an aircraft test pilot. That's kind of cool. It's not your like just boring run of the mill dude.
Yeah, that's
what the hell this truck is doing here.
If we do have one, it's all the way out in Columbia. That's on the other side of the state for me. It's like a 2.5-hour drive.
I bet Rick took off because he went to that realtor supply. He kept looking at the link and the address, and he was like, I'm going to go now. Fuck it.
Pants? No, my dad is not Bill Murray. I have met Bill Murray, but he's not my father. I wish. All right, so yeah, Caddyshack with Bill Murray trying to kill that gopher. The Amish guy bowling against Bill Murray. What was that? Groundhog's Day?
What the hell is my blue marker and my box cutter doing up here? What the fuck is going on? He's always messing with my shit. Fucking people messing with my shit.
Motherfuckers. What's good?
Slow down. Yo, what it is?
What it do?
What it do?
Oh, hey, it's too hotty.
Oh, hey, it's Jonas.
Ah, zing! I heard that. Man, he whipped that out faster than Al Sharpton plays the race card. Holy shit!
Oh, what's this? Oops, slip the hand.
Oh.
Play that shit. You don't need to be here.
Come on. It's all in good fun. I don't even know how to do that on a Hangout. I've never bothered.
You know that little arrow on the person? Click it up. You can mute them, or you can eject them. I'm probably gonna get an angry email, or he's gonna say "fuck you, Night Strike." You know what? I don't care.
Don't be cruel.
I'm tired of that shit, especially from him. He doesn't even have a show when he does that.
How did that all start in the first place?
Because Matt Travis mentioned the one Weezer song I didn't know and didn't hear, and Matt started calling me Jonas.
Now it makes sense. Yeah, I wasn't around for that.
No, because you stopped coming to the nightly chess because you spend all your time in the daily ones.
Yeah, I'm pretty tired. What was I about to look up? I forgot. Shit. It'll come to me later. Yeah, I'm thinking about picking up another Makarov just because they're $275 right now. Like, the getting is good, you know?
Yeah.
Might as well. If it comes with everything the one I paid $400 for does, then I think I will. Mine came with, like, the Serbian logbook, Armorer's logbook, and it came with the practically brand new holster. Like, it was still soft and pliable. It still smelled like leather. I mean, that's how well kept it was. And a new lanyard. But it only came with one mag. I had to buy a spare mag. I think next time I go to the show, I'll buy a couple more. Because I think they were only selling them for like $8 or something for Makarov mags. That's a pretty good deal, right? Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to show material. See, I get fucking distracted too easy at work. It's really no good news.
No news is good news.
It's really no news at all.
Well, unless you want to hear about, the Trump-Russia collusion thing.
Oh, more of that shit, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. One of the Democrats is trying to get back on that one.
Still, well, okay. So I read a story yesterday that Rex Tillerson is planning a response to was it 577 diplomats that were expelled from Russia?
Yeah.
See, I think the whole thing is just posturing. Like, I think that Putin believes that Trump doesn't believe this whole collusion thing either. And this is all just posturing. Because if you expel diplomats, you don't turn around like a day later and say, oh, by the way, you can choose which ones you have to leave. You know? If they were expelling
I'll be right
diplomats,
back.
they'd be like, all y'all leave. But instead, they called the State Department and said, you can choose who has to leave. But this is the number we want out. It just doesn't jive with me. It makes no sense. So I take it once you get a boot like that, you can't jump back in. I guess it puts you on a naughty list. Is that why you're not here? Man. So here we are at the bottom of the hour on a Quark show today, which I'm actually totally cool with because I wasn't sure how well the internet was going to hold up today with the weather being as bad as it is. So they actually did me a favor. But anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube or anywhere else, come on down to gunchannels.com where it is free to join, free to register, free to be a part of the conversation. Just don't tease your host, otherwise he'll kick you out, even though he gave you the link literally 2 minutes prior. Anyway, you can come hang out with us in these long format shows where there are definitely lulls in the conversation. Maybe you can add something to the conversation to give us something to talk about on these 7 to 8 hour excursions. You can meet many of your favorite YouTube personalities, many of which actually host shows here at Gun Channels. Tonight we have the Daily Gun Show, which starts at 7 o'clock Eastern, which is also quarking or running concurrently with Andalusia Armory Shop Talk. You can find Sean Carter there. A couple of guys after hours talking about whatever they want. Kind of give you an inside view of what's going on in a gun store. That will be followed by Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock, Hit or Miss, which the topic of discussion is TBA tonight because there really isn't a whole lot going on out there. And I believe Big Gunner 81 wraps up Tuesday nights. So that's Gun Channels tonight.
Hit or Miss, Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock.
I put that in there already. You're the middle show today.
Hey, I still have to say it. Damn it.
I am
This is gonna be one
contractually
without
obligated
Smeggy.
with Smeggy, to always say hit or miss Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock.
If I'm not mistaken, tonight, this Tuesday night, there's going to be no Smeggy at the Daily Show or your show. Like he's going somewhere, isn't he? Didn't he say something like that? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, two hotties mad now.
Not
Well,
here.
here's the thing: when you kick someone from like Hangouts, they can't come back until you start a different Hangout.
Oh, that's harsh. Like it doesn't have an editable ban list
No,
like IRC. Okay.
I just looked it up.
Sorry. You're
'Cause I thought I was going to be able to invite him back in and just say, "Don't be a douchebag," but apparently not.
Everyone just plays into the joke, man.
Don't play into the joke.
I guess it gets old though.
It gets old fast.
This is becoming an anti-bullying message, by the way. This is slowly turning into that, you know. Stop picking on me. I will fuck you up. Okay. Anyway, there's John. What's for
There's
lunch?
John.
Tell us what's for lunch, which is usually not food, but what food eats.
John.
Bueller.
Bueller.
That's my game.
Bueller.
You'll get there eventually. Don't join the Hangout until after your headset's plugged in. Sometimes that screws things up. Where you join and then plug it in. Sometimes that screws shit up. Or click the little gear at the top of the Hangout and make sure your input and output devices is your headset, not something else. I'm hearing microphone noise now.
Hey, fellas.
There you go.
How's everybody doing today?
Yeah, just watching the high water rescues on TV. What makes that noise, by the way? Because it always sounds like an old police scanner. That beeping noise? Or is it a police scanner?
Oh no, that's that.
I can restart the chat. Should I do that?
No, that's the.
What was that, Sean?
I mean, you could, but then you'd have to redo the whole thing with the link at the end.
I don't mind.
Your call.
Yeah, why don't we just restart the chat then? Do the honorable thing, or whatnot. So
I'll wait for a link. Chapter 2 coming soon.
yeah, to a theater near you.
Did you hit the button?
Not yet. I gotta
Oh, you're starting
get the title.
putting together the other one. Okay.
Putting together the other one first.
Good call.
Method to the madness.
Is that better?
I was just wondering what that noise was, that little beeping noise. I thought it was like a police scanner thing.
Are you guys just repeating everything you're saying?
No, because you didn't
No.
tell me what it is yet.
Oh no, that's
See, you did it again.
no. I'm not. Everything I'm saying, it's taking as I'm saying it like 10 minutes later. It's my headset.
It makes that boop, boop, boop kind of noise.
Yeah.
That. Okay. Is
No,
that you
but I
adjusting
did
the
that
volume?
on purpose.
I mean, it makes the same sound that I used to hear in chips. It's like 7 Mary 3. We need to go out to a
Oh.
coffee at 7.
What time is the Daily Gun Show start?
That would be 7 o'clock Eastern time.
All right, I'll end this one at 6:30. How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. All right, we're gonna restart the chat.
Awaiting link. Oh, by the way, if Smeggy really isn't doing the show tonight, maybe they'll send you in there.
Huh. No, I doubt it.
We gotta have a fourth.
I hardly ever get Daily Gun Show invites.
I never do. I never ask though. Did you already redo the embed too?
I'm doing that right now.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll join.
Yeah, just wait for the new link because we're gonna start another one. So
No, I'm talking about the daily.
I did not know that it would not let someone in.
Yeah, I thought it was like just a like I don't know because they used to have kick and kick ban on IRC. So
Yeah.
I remember that. Minus K or exclamation K or exclamation KB. Those were the days, man. That's when you can download shit and it was more direct. And you would use like XDCC bots. Watch them go back to that for like bootlegging movies. Since you clearly can't use peer-to-peer anymore because like your ISP will know exactly what it is based on the file name. Just because you're stupid to not just put a README file and say, rename this file to this, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
And boss needs to hurry back with my line. See, now I'm getting to that point where it's like I'm more demanding for it.
They've been gone an hour. All right, Sean. I'm pressing the button and I'm starting up the other one.
Okay.